5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am live here at In Your Head Wrestling Radio. I am the internet icon, the pride of the Pilgrims, handsome Jackie Jones. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties with the laptop, but I've got it all sorted out at the moment. It'll probably be a short show because I'm an hour late, had a lot of stuff messing up. Intra's got some personal issues going on, so he will not be here this evening. So if you guys want to zoom in and talk about the wrestling, you can do so. I had reviewed Dynamite last week. I reviewed Dynamite and the pay-per-view. I did it live after Dynamite, so I'm not going to come back here and repeat myself. Just go back and listen to that episode or watch it with your eyes. But unfortunately, we lost one of the biggest stars of modern wrestling. One of my personal favorites. Many would say one of the biggest stars of the last 2 decades to never be a world champion. Really, going back 3 decades now. Well, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon. He fell and broke his hip, which is very unfortunate. And, all of us think of our wrestling heroes, to be able to, physically we look them like superheroes. You wouldn't think, falling down would lead to injuries, but he broke his hip. And then not long after that, it was out there. He's on life support. He had 3 heart attacks. And what happened was blood clot from his leg from the surgery to fix his hip went up into his heart. And on life support, I was really sad reading the Scott Hall Instagram talking about once Hall's family were together, they were going to take him off life support. And this was a guy that he spent more time with him than anybody. And he truly loved the guy. Everyone knows he was not perfect, had a lot of personal demons. But his friends all loved him. His family obviously loved him. But one of my favorites, one of the best to me all around performers in wrestling. Great. One of the best promos. Charisma is way up top notch. Amazing charisma, look. Even early in his career, before he really it's weird because usually people say you can't teach the it factor. You either have it or you don't. But oddly enough, early in his career, he always looked, this real big guy. Oddly, it's I don't think you realized how big he was, because a lot of times he was around Kevin Nash, who's almost 7 feet tall, but a huge guy, could move really well for his size. But early in his career in AWA, and then Diamond Stud, you started to see it. But early in his career is Big Scott Hall in AWA, and his early run and was it NWA, WCW? Maybe it was NWA at the time, when he was when he was was wrestling Gators, and he's Magnum Scott Hall for a while. He didn't have that. He didn't have the personality. He didn't have he didn't really have the charisma, which is weird because usually, like I said, that's something you either have, you don't have. And then the Diamond Study started to show a little bit of that, and then really, the Razor Ramon, bam, just really took off. And then I think even above that, as Scott Hall, because then it was a weird combination of the Razor Ramon character. He kept the accent the rest of his career, but also being more himself. So it was a kind of a strange combination of things. Great. I think probably the best in-ring performer of the not just probably, unless maybe not X-Pac, I guess, but the best in-ring performer of the core NWO guys. To me, better than Nash. It doesn't matter though. But Holland. better than Nash and Hogan as far as in-ring performer. It's, if he was around today in his prime, multiple time world champion, I would think, no doubt, but just still a huge star in wrestling, even without being world champion. One of the most memorable things for me is being a wrestling fan, and almost everyone, watching this would agree, when he came out of the crowd on Nitro and the beginning of the New World Order. I mean, I remember watching it. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was reading the dirt sheets. I was reading Meltzer and all the newsletters at the time. And so and even before that, I was never a fan who believed, wrestling was legit. But still, when I'm watching, it's like, what is this? What's going on? The guy just walks on to Nitro, basically in the same character. He's talking about a war. He's referencing stuff that they're doing. It really changed wrestling. It was one of the best runs that I've ever seen in wrestling. It really was must-watch TV. And during that those few years, I would watch Nitro and I would record Raw and look forward to every Monday night to see what's happening. And a big part of that, there was a lot of things going on in NWO, but the main thing was, a lot of things going on in Nitro, but the main thing for me was the NWO. That was just amazing. A lot of new stuff, though. The Super Junior guys, before we saw a lot of that, Luchadors, just everything going on. But for storytelling, the NWO stuff was just top notch, and a big part of that was Scott Hall. And before that, Razor Ramon ladder match with Shawn Michaels, fantastic. I was there at Royal Rumble '94. I'm just gonna repeat stuff everyone loves because he was awesome, and he was on the show twice. This is no secret, talked about it, and he's very open about his demons. And I'll always remember this. Very nice guy. I know Gold will bring up, he said some stuff to me on the show where it was like, it was a joke. It was kind of nasty. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I'm not a perfect guy either. I said a lot of bad things about people over the years on the show, my co-host included. So that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. But okay, so I remember we set up the interview. Eric Wygren and Bryce on they're still part of the group. Were big help setting that up and the X-Pac interview. And so the first time he was going to be on, he was messed up. He was in no condition to perform, and his friend Sid Vicious, filled in for him. And then after, he's very apologetic. He's very sincere too, that he was sorry for this. And the next time he came on, I'll always remember this because I found it very sad, because this is a guy who had all the abilities. People loved him, but he still couldn't beat, the demons at the time. And he had me call him every hour that whole day, every hour to make sure he stayed clean so he could do the interview. I found that sad that he himself couldn't, not drink or do whatever else he was doing. That he had to have, I don't know the guy very well. I just talked to him on the phone a few times. He was nice to me and stuff, not like I'm a personal friend of his, but he'd have me call, and that he trusted me with this. And, I wouldn't talk about this on the show normally, but he's very open about this. And had me call him every hour to make sure he stayed clean for the show. Not only was that sad to me, but, it showed that he was serious about coming on the show. It's not like we're paying him or anything, but he agreed to do it, and that meant a lot to me that he would not only come on, but make sure he came on and fulfilled his what he agreed to do. And then he came on a second time, and that one he was much better. But yeah, one of my favorites. Really sad to see. you know, we've lost a lot of wrestlers over the years, but it's always sad, and one of my favorites, and a huge part of to what a lot of the people who watch this was the last boom period of wrestling. The Monday Night Wars. I think we have a new crop of fans who, to them, you know, current wrestling is huge, and that's great. I like it too. I'm a big fan of AEW, but I would think, you know, most people my age and maybe, you know, a little bit younger, the Attitude Era, the Monday Night Wars, that's the last boom period. And so when you lose somebody like that, that's a big part of that. So rest in peace, Scott Hall. I'm a huge fan. As a wrestler, as a guy, I really liked him. Just really a perfect, besides the demons. I can't think of something that you could do better as a performer. The charisma, promos, the character, the in-ring, the look, just really all nailed it. He could be funny, but he'd also not like silly stuff. He would be serious when needed. And even the funny stuff was within the wrestling. Like, you know, he's making fun of the other wrestlers, but it was as like what that character would be doing. But anyway, I could talk about him all night. And again, I'm sure a lot of people would have the same sentiments. Huge fan. So rest in peace, Scott Hall. I'm going to take calls right here to open the show. So you guys zoom in, and gals. Sorry for the late delay. I'll get the link up here. And we'll zoom in. We'll talk some wrestling. We'll get the Raw report. We'll ask some questions. And it probably won't be here all night, but we'll be back. Don't worry. All right. Zoom in, buddies. Nothing personal, but chanting for the Raw report. We're going to get to that. It's very nice. But at the same time, while we're talking about a man dying, it's got a little... not the coolest thing, but we have Steven Butler on the line.
Good evening.
How's it going, Steven?
Oh, doing okay. Kind of sad, yeah. About Scott Hall. But I actually did some research in preparation for the show. Was watching like the biography on the network of Scott Hall. And then he and Kevin Nash did JBL's show as well. And I was just remembering my own, like, so Scott Hall was like 27 when he was in the AWA, and he and Kurt Hennig won the belts, tag team titles. And
great team.
Yeah, actually that at that time, really didn't know who this guy was, like, but I was more familiar with Kurt Hennig because he was Larry the Axe Hennig's son. And of course, and I'm not sure if it was Vern's idea or someone else, but they called him Scott Magnum Hall because he kind of looked like Tom Selleck. and
you already have Magnum TA, who was basically doing the same thing.
Yes, if you looked at Magnum, except Magnum had the blonde. Yeah. But Scott's hair was darker, and he had the mustache and kind of looked like a passing resemblance to Tom Selleck. So that was actually the first
big mustache.
Yeah, that was my first exposure to Scott Hall. Actually, I thought he was a pretty good tag. Again, I'm sure I mentioned.
Yeah, it's really weird because he was a big dude and a good wrestler for his size, but he was really lacking the charisma and personality to think like later on he'd have that like to the nth degree is really surprising, because usually, you know, some people will grow into that, but it's still clear that they have that in them. But he was like a pretty bland guy back then.
Well, it's because he was like, one, he was a baby face. Two, he hadn't been in wrestling for very long. And he was kind of bland. Kurt Hennig did most of the talking. If you look at those AWA shows, Hennig was the talker. And really when he left, when he left AWA and he went to what was then Jim Progress Promotions, he was a jobber the first time he went there.
Yeah, well, they had the little vignettes about him, like when he like a gator fighter, a gator wrestler or something. He was like Gator Scott Hall or something.
Well, yeah, he was looking for, I guess like looking for a gimmick, but like I don't know whether it was his ideas. Again, I'm not sure, because like he was a jobber, and then he kind of like I think was that then he went to Japan, or he was trying to find work, and he calls up Diamond Dallas Page, and he has this idea for the Diamond Stud. He and Page come up with this idea of the Diamond Stud, and that's the second time I saw him, was this Diamond Stud.
I totally really remember that whole run and stuff, but I can't remember at the time when I was watching if I even put together that was Scott Hall initially. Like I knew later on, but because he was so different than
because Page. Yeah, Page told him to change his appearance. He had the mustache and the hair, and he looked like a similar.
Yeah, he had it all. He had really slick back as a Diamond Stud. Still had the hairy chest.
Yes, but Page told him to change. This is what was on the documentary. He says Page told him to change the look, and also he said that.
I always was a fan of Page, by the way, before like he really took off. Even back in the AWA, I never thought he'd become a wrestler or anything back then, because I always thought he was like crippled or something, because he always had the cane.
I think that was just a gimmick.
Yeah, but I mean, it was the only time I saw him, so I just assumed it was real. Because why would this really tall dude? I just assumed he got hurt sometime, and that's why he's a manager. But, plus, I was a kid.
So. And yeah, like the Diamond Stud. I mean, I thought that was a kind of
I liked it. I liked it at the time. I thought he was a huge dude. He looked impressive. I liked the gimmick. I liked Diamond Dallas Page. It was working for me. Mm-hmm. And then when they brought him in as Razor, I mean, that was just
that was motivated. That was motivated mostly by money, because like he wanted to go up.
I mean, he was also positioned better, I would think.
Yeah, he wanted to go up the card, and he wasn't going to go anywhere as the Diamond Stud. And so, again, I think he used a connection. Was it like Kurt Hennig, or I'm not sure, to get to WWF, but yeah, there's one of the questions later on about WrestleMania 18, but WrestleMania 18, when he took on Steve Austin, yeah, we were where they were the entrance way, and those guys got quite a reaction, like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash coming out together for that match, and I guess he was supposed to win that match against Austin, but that they changed that, and Austin won it.
Yeah, as big as the Hogan Rock match, off the charts. Not that the Austin Hall match was bad, but it I don't know, it just I don't know, wasn't as big as what you think it would be after the NWO returns. Mm-hmm. I do remember him taking a pretty fun stunner, though.
Yeah, it's almost like he oversold it. He bounced.
Yeah. Some people I kind of enjoy that. I know Rock used to really do the crazy sells to the stunner. And speaking of Kurt Hennig, he was a guy who really oversold all the moves.
Oh yeah,
it's funny because some guys I think who are disliked by a lot of the internet, like Shawn Michaels, not by everybody, but a lot of people dislike him. He'll get a lot of shit for overselling in the Hogan match, but then a guy like Kurt Hennig will get praised for kind of doing the same thing in a lot of matches. I guess it all depends on how people look at the person. Yeah, one of the best. I don't think it gets talked about in my mind. When I say big man, I always think of like a heavy guy, like a Vader or something. But if you just mean like a big man, as in like a tall guy, one of the best big workers.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think he was deceptively big, because when I met him, he's huge. But he was around like such big guys, you didn't notice as much. I think if he's around today, like in his prime, he'd tower over most of the wrestlers.
So apparently his son is even taller than him.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Hall.
Yeah, I've seen him. Does he still wrestle? I remember a few years ago he was wrestling in New Japan, and he definitely had potential, but he was just kind of straight up like copying Scott Hall, which I don't necessarily think is a great idea. He was even wearing his old tights and stuff and doing all the mannerisms. But he's a huge kid and definitely a potential. But I don't know if he still is he, because I don't really hear the name anymore.
No, neither do I. No. But
That's too bad. He would have probably benefited of being in like developmental somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Getting someone to teach him. I don't know if he's maybe it's something he decided not to. I don't know what he's doing. But yeah, big. It's very sad. Do you have any memories that stand out, Lexar Scott Hall?
Yes, I do. I was at a GCW show many years ago. This was when GCW was just death matches and everything. And Scott Hall actually made an appearance on the show. And he came out and he someone called out Joey Janela. You remember him? The bad boy? So he came out.
He's only been on, he's just on a couple, like half a year ago.
Yeah. So they cut a promo saying that he may be the bad guy, but I'm the bad boy. So this was they're going back and forth, and then
I like Joey. I know some people hate the guy, but I like him. Yeah.
Some other wrestler come out and challenges Joey Janela. So Scott Hall was sitting ringside. I was sitting like second row, and he's like sitting like 2/3 of the corner by me. So it was cool to see him up close, Scott Hall. So in the match, Joey Janela throws his opponent outside, and he bumps into Scott Hall. And he didn't do nothing while the wrestler did. But Hall, he got like pissed. He like took a bundle of light tubes and smashed the light tube into Joey Janela's opponent. And
I didn't even know Scott Hall was ever there.
Is because it's been promoted, but you don't pay attention to indie wrestling. So
that's not true. I bought their pay-per-view.
Well, this was years ago in 2017. So that's when, like I said,
I admitted I enjoyed their pay-per-view.
So, but this was 2017. So this one, GCW was like getting the foot in the ground and trying to get more people attention. But anyway, Scott Hall smashed a light tube over this poor wrestler, and then Joey Janela gets the win, and Scott Hall and Janela celebrated in the ring after the match. And I hear that I didn't notice this, but Scott Hall actually had an autograph signing, but you had to pay $50.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So not only you have to pay tickets, but you have to pay for, if you want to get an autograph and a picture with Hall, it's $50.
Did you buy it?
I didn't know about it. I got there late. So I got there during about 15 minutes before the first match started. So I don't know about that.
You should buy it.
I tried to. Yeah, but the whole things with these, I don't know with this WrestleCons and these Comic Cons, I don't know if you buy a ticket and you get in and you have to pay.
You have to buy them all separately. When we first went to, there have been the NWA Fan Fest. They used to do it where I did think was a better way to do it was for your base pay, whatever it was for the VIP pass, you got like the main guests that were actually presented from the show. They all would sign one item, and then the photos were extra, and then other like vendor guests were, up to them what they charge. But now I haven't been to a wrestling convention in a long time, but the horror ones are the same way. That you pay to get in, but then you have to pay everyone separately to get pictures, and it's quite expensive. I think it used to be like when I started going to horror conventions, a lot of them were like $10 and stuff, but then like the norm was 20, and now like most of them it's like at least $50 or $35 each, and some are like 100 or some are even more. So it costs a lot of money to go and get all these things.
Inflation on conventions.
Was that?
Inflation of conventions.
Well, the thing is, if people are willing to pay it, everyone else can go up there. Sid Haig, this is a horror thing, but Sid Haig, who died a few years ago, he would never charge more than $10 for his autograph, which I always thought was very cool. And he did very well. He was at like almost every convention I ever went to, and always had a big line. And a lot of it was he's charging less, but then he gets more people, so he probably still made really good money. Let's see. Goosey, do you have memory of Scott Hall?
Not an in-ring. Mine was more personal. So a couple years ago, I'm at a casino with my buddy, a rinky-dink casino up in northern Minnesota. And I'm just sitting there in the slots, and guy comes up to me and fucking, hey, is this seat taken, bro? I look over, it's fucking Scott Hall. I'm like, holy shit, wait, what? And he didn't big time me. He shot the shit with me for 15 minutes. I think we talked about like Georgia Bulldogs footballers, some shit. It was really cool that he took the time out to talk to some random, Joe Schmo from Minnesota, when he could have just been that asshole like, hey, I'm Scott Hall. I'm
right.
a professional wrestler. So that was the child wrestling and fan in me really liked that day, but
not to interrupt you, but Luke Cox, friend of the show, he posted a really nice story that like it was like the first time he met him, they were both booked on a show, and Luke Cox, was only around for a little while at this point and had no money or anything. And he said him and Scott Hall clicked right away, and Scott Hall took him out for dinner, and like he said it was an expensive place he couldn't afford, and he's like, oh, don't worry about it, and he paid for everything the whole weekend. And then he told them at the end, like, you'll be a top guy someday, and you take care of the guys that are coming up like I did for you. And I thought that was a really cool thing.
Well, it really sucks because I mean we all know it's documented his demons that he fell into, and Diamond Dallas Page, we all know DDP, essentially saved him, and as well as Jake the Snake. And it just sucks that he had to die so young.
Yeah, it was only 63.
All these other evil bastards out there that are, unfortunately get to draw breath instead of the.
I remember, when Chris Candido died, he had been clean for a few years and died similar, blood clot when he was flying from broken leg.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
a lot younger, but yeah, really sad.
Yeah, it's one of those deaths that it's like Mad Dog Vachon could die and you're not really affected. Like, not that I'm saying that it's a good thing that Mad Dog Vachon is dead, but you're not affected. It hits me as much as Macho Man dying hit me. It's one of those like another little piece of my childhood is gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think most of the people watching this, that's a big, one of the main stars, like I said, from the boom period that we all, the last real boom period of wrestling.
When you think of WCW, besides Goldberg and Hogan, you think of Nash and Hall and fucking Sting.
Like Crow, the Crow Sting.
Yeah, that story about Hall got that fucking Hall told Sting to be like the Crow, and Look at Sting now. He's 64 and jumping off buildings.
Yeah, if he didn't that really for those years he really didn't do much besides just for that whole year just stand up in the thing. But he really rode that gimmick for 20 something years.
Right.
And it protected his, if he was still wrestling like he used to, like versus Vader and stuff, I don't know if he'd be able to do these dives off the balcony and stuff today. That also saved his body, because he didn't have to do like a lot of crazy bumps. Because I don't think even people really know, like if you only started watching in the late 90s, you'd probably have a different opinion of what Sting was. But, like in the late 80s and early 90s, I mean, he had a lot of physical matches and took a lot of bumps. Much different wrestler. Patrick Howell, he was the bad guy. He was indeed the Outsiders.
I think Cody Hall is kind of blacklisted from wrestling now.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
He made some pretty off-color jokes about the pandemic and Chinese people that
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I especially it's unfortunate to even say, but you do think people, especially someone, it's one thing like an older person says this, they're from a different era. I'm not excusing it or whatever, but they come from a different time. But you would think someone, a modern person, a younger person, would at least know, like, oh, I probably shouldn't put this out on social media. It's probably not going to do well for me. All right. Raw report, Mr. Butler.
Before we get to the Raw report, we could talk about the other news in wrestling. And I watched this as it happened. Big E had a big scare on Friday Night SmackDown. Ridge Holland. Now I guess it's.
Yeah, I saw the clip when I heard about it. I'm a big New Day fan. Even if I wasn't, I wouldn't want to see anyone get hurt, obviously, but big New Day fan. And when I heard that he took a bad bump, I thought maybe it was from his spear, like he does through the ring and out, but it wasn't. It was from the German suplex. And from understand, that guy has he almost hurt Johnny Gargano with the same move. So I don't know, but maybe that guy shouldn't do that over the head, belly to belly.
Yeah,
it's just their booking is, from what I've seen lately, their booking is just the king of just unnecessary spots. It seems like that spot was just so unnecessary, and the way Big E landed, he was like an inch from like internally decapitating himself.
Yeah, it looked really bad. And I think if he wasn't such a thick guy, he might have died. I don't know. Paralyzed. I couldn't believe they say it was a C1, which apparently is what usually leads to paralysis and sometimes death. And he was talking, moving his fingers.
Yeah, he says he's not going to get surgery or doesn't need it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But like, so but even when he comes back, like, what's that going to do to his career? Will he even have one when he comes back? Or will the doctors even recommend, maybe you shouldn't?
Yeah, if he's not getting surgery, maybe they probably don't fall on your head and your neck. I don't know.
Or he would have to change his whole wrestling style.
Yeah, I assume that spear through the ropes won't be a thing anymore.
It's been rumored that his career is over.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's unfortunate. I'm a big E fan and a New Day fan.
You get the Tyson Kidd complex of his neck. Like
I said, even if I wasn't, I don't want to see anyone get hurt or have their career short. Hello, Geraldine.
Hey.
The lovely, the vivacious Geraldine.
I'm here.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm good. I'm all decked out for St. Patrick's Day here.
Which, by the way, is my mom's birthday.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Well,
happy birthday. Feliz
Happy
cumpleaños.
birthday.
I was wearing this, but instead of the flannel, because it's a little cold down here, I had a jean jacket, and we were waiting for coffees, and there was I believe he was Mexican, but he was speaking Spanish, and I don't think he spoke English. I speak a little Spanish, but not very much. And he kept talking to me and saying something about my sombrero. So I knew that meant hat, but I didn't know exactly what it meant. Then he went rock and roll, and he started going air guitar, and I was like, yep. And then he got a big smile. I said, yeah. And he I don't know. I think he thought I was a rock star.
He probably thought you were a rock star.
Yeah. Which who could blame him? I mean, look at this guy.
Like from the 80s or something, but yeah.
What? Oh man, one of the Pet Shop Boys here.
You like Ted Nugent.
I thought, man, look at that sexy man. He's got to be a rock star.
I tried joining in last week, but my internet was shit.
No, it's all right. I had a lot of issues going live here. The laptop, I don't know. It said the disk was 100%, and then I restarted. Anyway, long story short, I got it working.
Right now, it was asking me for a freaking verification code because I got this new computer, and it said that I never used the Zoom on it, so it was asking me for a verification. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
Well, I'm glad you could join us. We're happy to have you here. It's good to see you.
From now on, I will join more because
Better smack you around a little bit. I kid.
Yeah.
But Patrick Howell says he misses you.
I miss you
He
too.
does. We all miss Geraldine.
Yeah.
where is Jonathan Jackson?
Jonathan Jackson. They were probably here earlier, but I had a lot of issues and I started an hour late.
Oh,
And Incher also has some.
what is
personal-
Incher?
He's milking
I'm not
cows.
sure what I'm supposed to say, so I'll just say he has
He
some
what?
personal- he has some personal issues.
Oh,
He
Milking
himself
cows.
is fine. I'll just say his cat's dying, unfortunately.
Oh,
aw.
God damn.
So he's
That's
very
sad.
broken up. Yeah. Cat he's had a long time. So let's see, Geraldine, do you have any memories of Scott Hall?
Oh my! He was like my dad's favorite. After
My
my
mom's
dad,
favorite too.
my
mom
my
loves him
dad's
and stuff.
ultimate favorite was the Undertaker, but he was like beneath the Undertaker. He was like his favorite. He was a character that a lot of Hispanic people identify with because that's how thugs are like for Hispanic people.
Mhm.
The Razor
I
Ramon.
kinda like-
Get it?
He was
you like
big
Chico.
in South America.
Did they think he was Hispanic?
I think to a point, yes. They
I
they
thought
thought
he
he
was
was Hispanic.
I thought he was Hispanic at first.
Yeah. You kind of look like Scott Hall, Lexar.
I do not look like Scott Hall. I kind of look like Bad Bunny when he was younger.
I don't
No.
know.
Yeah, no.
No, I'd say
Okay,
more like
Daddy
Scott
Yankee.
Hall.
On crack.
I think you look more like Luis Guzman.
Ooh,
Oh, Luis Guzman.
Ooh.
Luis Guzman. I'll get a picture of him.
It was sad that he passed away, but I think all the wrestler careers are so short because of the bad life they have.
Yeah, it was no secret his
He had demons, and they were very prevalent. Painkillers and alcohol, and
Luis Guzman.
Oh, Luis Guzman, see.
Yeah.
He's on that show.
oh yeah,
That he was gay.
he said that was nothing like that.
I can't remember what show was it. It was funny.
I think he's gonna play Gomez Adams in the new Adams Family.
Ooh.
Really?
Mhm.
Mm.
He was in that movie with Ryan Reynolds,
A lot of movies.
Waiting, I think.
I like him. I think he's a funny man. All right, now it is time. Everyone's been waiting for the Raw Report. Now, real quick, before we get to the Raw Report, I was on social media, this thing that kids talk about, Twitter and Instagram and Friendster, and I saw all the people talking. They were like, they were putting out facts. Cody Rhodes, it's debuting tonight on the final segment on Raw. So I was like, God, I don't know. So I was like, well, it was 10:50. I'm like, well, it's only 10 minutes left. So I go turn it there. And so I talk because I talk in a remote. I'm sure everyone knows this, but I'm an old man. I used to have to go up and press buttons, but now I gotta like talk in remote.
So did I,
Monday
Jack.
Night Raw. And then it says, we don't know what you're talking about. Monday Night Raw, bitch. And then it comes up and it takes me, and then it starts right at the beginning. I'm like, I don't watch this for fucking 3 hours. So then I just went to USA. By the time I get there, it's 10:52. So I'm like, 8 minutes left. I can handle 8 minutes. So I'm watching Kevin Owens. I don't want to spoil the show, but I'm watching the last match. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's fine. It's a fine match. There ain't nothing happens. No one comes out. It just ends. I'm like, line bastards.
Everybody thought for sure that because they were in Jacksonville, they were gonna have Cody come out.
Yeah. So, even though I've said Cody is not on this, let's hear the Raw Report. But first, Songman, do you have a memory of Scott Hall?
Well, I have to tell him I'm coming.
Oh, we can't hear you, Songman.
Songman, your internet's dying.
Jonathan Jackson still can't zoom in. ATM, I believe that is at the moment not ass to mouth like Dirty Lexar's thinking, but still showing support. Shout out to Geraldine and Lexar. He says Lexar looks nothing like Bad Bunny, and R.I.P. Scott Hall. We can't hear Songman. I'm sorry if I was not being rude talking over him. We couldn't hear him, but hopefully we'll get him back on here. Oh, might be able to hear him now. Oh, now he's muted.
Am I here now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what happened.
That's all right.
Yeah, like I was saying, like it was definitely a big moment for me for the fan fest and everything. Wonderful guy, and I know a lot of people had the heat because of the click era and everything, but he was totally a wonderful guy to me and everything. But if I can bring up anything in pro wrestling, of course it would be the outsider era, when like the ups and downs. And of course the big memory probably was the last one in pro wrestling was 2007 when TNA did a thing of Scott Who for Kevin Nash, and then he made that special return to TNA for Scott Hall. But of course he wasn't on a good term when he came back in TNA. But that was kind of a big last moment in pro wrestling before he had his big problem coming in 11.
Yeah, very sad. All right, it is time now. Once again, we're going to get to the Raw Report, but just so people get an idea of why Luis Guzman at the casino thought I was a rock star. Look at that guy. I mean, I'm pretty rocking right there, don't you think?
Those shoes.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
Yeah.
How much money do you win?
I came home just a little bit ahead, not very much. But all three of us, me, my mom, and my brother, all came home ahead.
Your shoes remind me of Legos.
You'd hit that, as the kids say.
Oh.
All right. Raw Report. Enough shenanigans.
Well, news for Goosey.
Hey.
Well, you know who? They did not start Monday Night Raw this week. uh, for the first time in 2 or 3 months.
Woo!
The Alpha Academy did not start Monday Night Raw.
I was confused, but yeah, that's right. Goosey's a huge fan of the Alpha Academy.
Big old Otis and
Oh yeah,
Justin Cable or whatever.
I do like Otis. It's too bad they had him shave and everything.
No, this week was dedicated to the Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins storylines, because they were all over the show, right from the very beginning, right to the very end. So KO comes out and cuts a promo.
Started it with "Hey Yo," which was a very nice touch.
Which, yes, I really like that too. He didn't draw too much attention to it. Just came out, said "Hey Yo," and went right to his promo. Classy. That was good. Yeah.
Hey, yo.
And so, and also, a surefire way to get heel heat in the United States: put over Canadian beer, and that's exactly what. Thanks,
what does
Kevin.
Canadian beer taste like?
It has more. I think it has more alcohol in it than American beer does. Yeah. Although I am no longer a beer drinker.
Neither am I. Just the Rudy Tooty kind. Actually, I don't even drink
same
that.
here. Yeah. Maybe in my younger years, I used to drink way too much, but not anymore. So, but Kevin Owens put over Canadian beer. Said that when he's having his KO show on WrestleMania, he's gonna beat up Steve Austin. So that was just the first segment. And then a contrast to last week, the whole show, we got a whole lot of wrestling on this show. I was quite impressed. Yes.
Wrestling.
The new United States champion Finn Balor took on Damian Priest, and for some bizarre reason, Austin Theory decided to come out and be a commentator on this match. And wouldn't you know it, you win a belt in WWE, and what happens? What's the first thing that happens when you win a belt?
You just start losing every week.
Start losing, and that's exactly what happened here. They had a match, and Damian Priest, Finn Balor, acting like a total dumb baby face, decides to go out and attack Austin Theory. And then when he jumps back into the ring, Damian Priest immediately grabs him, hits his finishing move, and pins the champion 1, 2, 3 right in the middle of the ring.
Who do we all remember as the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time? The Honky Tonk
Man.
You know what he never did while he was IC champ? He never lost.
No.
He cheated to win. He'd sneak out the victory, but he always won. And all the great IC champs, Macho Man, the Ultimate Warrior, Mr. Perfect,
Razor Ramon,
Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, they didn't lose while they were champ.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly Jericho too.
Yeah, no one did. And it's a modern thing. And you know what? None of these people will be remembered as great Intercontinental champions. The ones that will be remembered as great champions, like Roman Reigns, I think this run will be remembered. He never loses.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Brock Lesnar does not get pinned.
No.
When it does, it's a big deal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Seth Rollins is interviewed, and he basically just stands there, doesn't say anything. And then we get probably the highlight of the night for Jack.
Oh boy.
Omos. We get the Battle of the Giants, Omos versus Commander Aziz.
I'm gonna go on record. I think there's more upside to Commander Aziz than Omos.
Well, he was certainly moving around the ring a lot more than Omos was.
He's more athletic.
Yeah.
He's got
certainly
more
is.
personality. I think he knows what's going on a little better.
So he
The
was
guy's
really,
slightly bigger, but that's it.
yeah, he was really working hard here, whereas Omos was like this big tree that just kind of stood there. So
I know Lexar is a big fan of Omos, but
like the last match, Omos didn't do much. Oh, Commander Aziz was the one running around the ring doing stuff. And so he tried to I think he tried to do a suplex on Omos, and Omos just picked him up and dropped him. He suplexed him and then picked up this big giant guy, hit the best tree slam he probably could, and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Just a couple of moves, not too much. And Omos won with his little tree slam move.
how would you give this match 5 stars?
Well, I would give Commander Aziz credit for
No,
all the work he did.
I'm not even kidding. I do think if you wanted to have I do think there's more upside to him. Like he ain't great, but at least I think if you protected him, like he'd come off better than Omos.
And afterwards, Omos picked up Apollo Crews, and he chokeslammed him, beat him up. Next match, Liv Morgan took on Queen Zelina. Liv Morgan looking hot as usual.
Got a nice ass.
Yes, I think she had the words "marry me" on her ass.
Whoa.
I think so. Well, I was trying very hard to look at Liv Morgan's ass, I must admit. So they had a match. Carmella came out, and Carmella,
Maybe she's just a big fan of that new movie.
maybe,
Yeah.
but what the hell?
Who the hell wants to
Was
see Carmella?
what the hell was Carmella wearing? Like, did you see this outfit that she had on?
She had like the underwear on
Yes,
top of her.
yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It certainly looked sexy. I'll give it that. But like she
They got to rise out of Lexar, if you catch my drift. I mean, his dingling.
but I'm looking at this wardrobe she's got on, and I'm thinking she better not move around too much. But she did manage to, as Rhea Ripley was accompanying Liv Morgan. At one point, she chased Carmella, and Carmella, wearing this outfit, starts running, and she jumped right into Corey Graves' lap without any wardrobe malfunctions. It was quite impressive. Anyway, back to the match. Liv Morgan won that match. And then we had yet another Seth Rollins. So this time Seth Rollins came out to the ring, and he and Kevin Owens had another segment. Here's another segment number 3, at least. So Kevin Owens is trying to get Kevin Owens is
saw
trying
some
to
goosey booty. Go on.
Kevin Owens is trying to cheer up Seth Rollins because
He's got
Kevin
nothing
Owens
on Liv Morgan.
Well, they won the match, and then quickly went with a quick cut to the next part. Then there was a break, I think, a commercial break. And so Kevin Owens is trying to cheer up Seth Rollins because Kevin Owens has the KO show with Steve Austin, and Seth Rollins doesn't have a match at WrestleMania so far. And so he's trying to cheer up Seth Rollins, saying, "You're the visionary, you can come up with an idea." And then Seth,
The missionary.
the visionary.
Oh,
So, "You're the visionary, you can come up with something." And then Seth, he gets this stupid look on his face, and he has a plan. And basically his plan is to have the freaking speaking segment on Monday Night Raw, which is his own talk show segment. And he wants to have Steve Austin as a guest, but KO says, no, I have him. It's my idea. And so enter Sonya Deville for the only appearance she had in the entire night, was just basically to say, in the main event of Monday Night Raw, it's going to be Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins, and the winner will have an interview segment with Steve Austin at WrestleMania. And then that was the last we saw of Sonya Deville. Oh no, I guess there was one more segment where Kevin Owens was complaining to her, and I think maybe that was it. We have another rematch. The Hurt Business had a rematch with the Mysterios. Oh, and the Mysterios showed up on NXT tonight, along with The Miz and the champion Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. So all these WWE main roster stars are going down to NXT.
It's really weird, especially after, they made it developmental again.
So we had another tag team match. The Mysterios hit the double 619 on Cedric Alexander, and they actually won this match.
That's good.
Yeah, that was a good one. And post match, the Miz and Logan Paul were there, and they attacked the Mysterios after the match, but then the Mysterios made the comeback and chased them off. Now next we got now is Edge trying to do a blue light special imitation of Aleister Black? Like
Yep.
We had Edge come out in blue light and cut this evil promo, evil Edge promo on AJ Styles. And AJ wasn't on the show tonight, but I guess he's going to be there next week. But Edge cut this really weird, promo.
Came out with new theme music too.
And he came out with new theme music too. Yeah, he did.
By the same band.
So I guess Edge is going to the dark side. Well, we'll see how this goes and how long it lasts before he kind of changes back. But at least until WrestleMania, we're getting evil Edge. And after his promo, then we get another women's match. We get Bianca Belair in a rematch. Okay, this is a rematch of Bianca Belair and Doudrop, and it pretty much followed the same one that happened before. Doudrop hitting all the power moves on Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair once again picking up Doudrop and having the same finish, hitting her KOD on Bianca Belair. Only this time around, though, after the match, Becky Lynch shows up. And is it just me, or is Becky Lynch shrinking? Because
she came back. She's been super skinny.
Yes. She just seems to getting smaller and smaller every week. And apparently on a house show match against Bianca Belair, I guess she injured her windpipe or something.
Yeah. So
she says she's okay, but she didn't.
I will say now, before Seth Rollins was married to Becky Lynch, I remember he had some issues with sexting fans, sending a sexual thing. And I remember one interaction, he talked with a fan that he wanted to stick his penis. He liked to, in her throat and choke a little bit. So it made me think, if he's into that, maybe this is what led to the windpipe being damaged on Becky Lynch.
That's what's been rumored.
Yeah, by me. So I
Use the
don't
word
know.
allegedly there, Jack.
Yeah, allegedly. This is all alleged.
Ah,
If anyone wants to sue, it was Alexar told me this.
It was online.
So this time around, so in the post match, Becky Lynch takes a chair, wraps it around Bianca's neck, and then she takes Bianca and tosses her into the ring post, and then walks away. So next, we get the RK Bro celebration. They're celebrating winning the Raw tag team titles and that they get to go to WrestleMania. And then the Street Profits come out, and I guess the WrestleMania match will be RK Bro versus the Street Profits for the Raw tag titles. I'm not all that anxious, or I'm not looking forward to seeing this, but Matt Riddle had a match against Montez Ford, and but really the stars of this were this is where the Alpha Academy came out, and they actually beat up all four guys. I think it was what's his name? Otis took out Orton. Gable took out Dawkins, and then they went into the ring and they beat up the other two guys. And when it was all over, when it was all said and done, all the four guys, Street Profits and RK Bro, were laid out, and it was the Alpha Academy standing tall. So, okay. And finally, we get to the main event of the evening. As you allude to, Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Now, these two guys actually had a very good match. In fact, you could hear the crowd. I'm not sure if this was piped in or was genuine, but they were actually really into this. And they had a very good match. And Kevin Owens won the match with his stunner. Pins Seth Rollins right in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. And he just walks out of the ring, and it's leaving Seth Rollins with a stunned look on his face. Now, like you were saying, I was reading this too, that Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins are supposedly having this WrestleMania match, but as each week goes on, he's not there, so you really can't build a match.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly
this match was like, since Seth Rollins lost, he's not going to have a match at WrestleMania this time. Yeah, which you'll lead to something.
yeah. So, I mean, like, we're running
almost everything that comes out about WrestleMania doesn't actually happen. Like they all said, like Austin was going to return. I know he's going to be on, but it's not going to be like an actual match. It's not a very intriguing WrestleMania.
They do this every time in the last week on WrestleMania week. That's what I don't like. When I know they're going to wait for this long, and then because they know
the match is way in advance, not like a week in advance.
Well, if they only had a one-night WrestleMania and they took out some of these matches, like Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin, and
one I've been waiting for.
Or even the triple threat women's tag team match, some of these matches, it would probably be a very good one night WrestleMania card. But because it's 2 nights and you're separating these things, the first night looks good. The second night, not all that thrilled about the Sunday night card.
Well, isn't that the one with the Brock Reigns match? Oh, that's very.
That might be the only match that I'm actually looking forward to. Everything else in that card on night 2.
Yeah.
But night one looks pretty good. I mean, I'm looking forward to that one.
Is this one of the Wanderers? Or is it the guy from Sha Na Na? Or is it the Fonz? The 50s Greaser Talzo on the line.
Hey, yo.
Good, pretty good. How's the Talzo's edge?
Say hello to the Greek guy.
Well, you're looking, you're looking pretty clean this week. Boom.
I don't have a toothpick.
What
Fling it in your face.
was that the end of the Raw report?
Oh, yeah, that's the end of the Raw report.
Mr. Greek, Mr. Talzo, Anastasio Theodosiadius. What is your memory? Did I pronounce that correctly? What's some of your memories of Scott Hall?
Well, it's pretty amazing.
Is that bloodstains in the back? It must just be shadow.
I can't say I have any memories. I mean, I just remember that the guy was the coolest, like kind of one of the coolest wrestlers ever.
Definitely. I honestly think he is, potentially the coolest wrestler of all time.
Kind of hated him in a way because I felt at some point he had a lot of power, backstage, or at least it seemed that way. Probably later on after WCW kind of, went away when you were reading, and we were reading all the books that came out about it. But, overall, other than his, he had a lot of problems, right? So, yeah, right there's the book, man. He just had a lot of problems. That's too bad that he died a very young man. He was a really good wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
Sold really well, and he was hilarious as well. And he kind of found this his own character, and it was between, like, again, being cool but being cooler than cool. I can't explain it. Like he was just the guy that you wanted to be hanging out with, and he was also very what's the word? He was like, you thought he would he could kick your ass. He definitely looked like it. Yeah, he was like a tough guy. And when he was younger, with the mustache and the hairy chest in AWA, he just was like a man's man, I guess, in a way, and looked like a formidable opponent in there. And he could wrestle anybody, I would say, generally speaking. It's just too bad.
That's actually a good point, though, because I do think sometimes people overlook that a big guy has to have a certain talent to wrestle. People always think that it's all the smaller guy who's talented when that match works, but I think it also takes a special skill from the bigger guy to be able to work with the smaller guy and make it really work well. I think Bam Bam Bigelow was really good at that. And I think, Scott Hall, his matches with 1, 2, 3 Kid are great. Really put him over. And, with Michaels and lots of people, because I do think he's a bigger guy than a lot of people realize, but he could work with
6'7".
a lot smaller guys, and you would still believe that they might beat him, or they would beat him.
And I think people forget, by the way, like, he's one of those guys back in the old school days. He was the one that did a lot of the body slams back in those days, like Bastion Booger. And I believe there was someone else that he could able to do a big giant body slam to, just like Diesel, of course, too.
When we do HeadyCon, we're going to have the Goosey Slam challenge.
Good luck.
Yeah.
On the USS Intrepid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and hey, by the way, say hello to the bad guy. I'm coming to in your head because Jackie Jones promised me more money than billionaire Ted.
Sweet. That's very good. And get the House of Black here, Stellar Steven. Do you have memories of the bad guy?
Yeah, first off, ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. I'm gonna find you and take it slowly. Yeah, I actually, I met Scott at Maryland Championship Wrestling years ago, 2018. It was a fan convention and brief interaction, but I almost forgot my autograph, and he like almost cut a promo on the money guy. He was like, "Don't yell at the customers." He was gonna turn Razor Ramon on him, but yeah, some of my favorite Scott Hall memories. Just him taking that floor bump at Mania versus. I didn't like Sting losing to Triple H, but that match was cool to see Scott getting in there, even though he wasn't an active wrestler. Like him taking that floor bump really impressed me when he was going for the Razor's Edge, and then seeing these clips of him circulating him in New Japan, like losing to Tanahashi, a young Tanahashi, is pretty cool. Him coming out to Ready or Not, ECW, New Japan, like just super cool. I love these old Raw clips of him messing with Johnny Polo, young Raven. Just a lot of deep cuts with Scott Hall.
Yeah, he's the man. Mike Whitcomb, I don't approve of this. He's saying that Tazo's shooting up. Tazo's not doing that kind of behavior on the show. And I'm sorry, I hope I didn't offend Goosey. I think Goosey's a good man. I meant Goosey was going to slam all of us.
No, I didn't even take it as you were making fun of me.
You're a good man. I'm a big fan of the Goose. The Goose is loose.
It's hard to offend me on anything.
Right.
Oh, Scott
I
Hall.
see here someone's posted this video. Someone getting their Razor Ramon shaved in the back of their head.
Oh,
pretty amazing.
His Twitter game was great too. Like when he was calling out Chael Sonnen for stealing his lines and saying Asuka's more talented than Goldberg. Like he's just like cool on Twitter as well as performing too.
Look at this.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
That's pretty amazing.
man.
Man.
Oh, jeez.
I like how they got the toothpick in there.
Yeah. I get Taza, you could do that. You think you could do that live on the show? You shaved your head live on the show before.
No, I would never shave my head or stick a needle in my veins. Vaccine, heroin, or anything. Whoever the fuck said that shit. Fucking
Man, you're gonna get smallpox and the mumps and
from where the
You're gonna get that
bio
rabies.
you
Gonna
said
get
you
those
were getting
rabies.
a vaccine.
I'm not going to Ukraine anytime soon, so I don't expect to get any.
He didn't
viral.
get his werewolf vax either.
Oh,
Might get AIDS.
Don't turn your back on the wolf pack. You might end up. in
There is no
trouble.
AIDS vaccine, unfortunately.
that's what I say.
Hell yeah. All right. Should we get to these questions?
What the Greek guy says.
Well, let's go around. Who has been Scott Hall? We talked a little bit of him, but Steven, do you have something in the world of wrestling you wanted to bring up before we get to the questions?
Oh yeah. So just as Big E was going down with an injury, apparently, I guess the third member of New Day is ready to come back. Xavier Woods.
Oh, good.
So
Big fan.
Xavier and Kofi, I guess maybe they're going to be the tag team going forward.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. We got the New Day riding unicorn here. This was a gift from Jason Mitten. I do wonder, non-wrestling fans, they see this and wonder what the hell I've got on here. Mr. Goosey, the goose is loose. What is on your mind in the world of wrestling?
let's talk about the game changer, the professional wrestling earth shaker, getting her Rachel Stew in the Hall of Fame.
Hell yeah, Queen
yeah.
Charmel. I'm asking, who do you this year?
What is your favorite Charmel moment?
Oh, hail King Booker. Is that it?
So you go to the Hall of Fame, you've got, Vader and this guy called Undertaker, and you got Queen Charmel. Who main events the show? Who do you put on the last induction to close out the Hall of Fame? Is it Undertaker or Queen Sharmell? Is it royalty or just some MMA zombie? Look, I realize at this point in time, it's not really.
You got to put Mean Mark.
Why? There's no point really arguing about the Hall of Fame because there's no criteria. But that being said, I've seen people sharing this meme and not like myself making fun of it. They were serious. They're like, you people talk about Queen Sharmell, but she had a whole career before she married Booker T. She managed Paisley. I mean, she managed Kiwi, and she wrestled Sonny. It's like, yeah, and none of that is important at all. Now, I'm sorry, I like Kiwi and that's all well and good, but she's probably like people talk about the top 10, the top 20, the top 50, the top 100. She would be like in the top 10,000. And I'm not even being, facetious. It'd be like the top 10,000 memorable people in wrestling. All right, I could see that. Number 9,572, Queen Sharmell. Okay. But when you put someone like Queen Sharmell in, you're just saying literally anyone who's ever been in wrestling at all on any level deserves to be in it. If that's your opinion, that's fine. That's what the Hall of Fame is. But I mean, come on.
Queen Sharmell, she was there backstage when Vince dropped the N-word, ironically. So maybe that was why she's getting into the Hall of Fame. Maybe there should be a Hall of Fame in the Hall of Fame, and then they can start re-inducting.
So the real Hall of Fame, and then just like, the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Shame.
And it's got Queen Sharmell and.
Well, let's face the fact, first of all, the women is definitely the biggest problem in every year, the most than the men. Let's just put it that way.
Look, the thing is, up until recently, there was only ever a handful of women in a territory or in a promotion. And I'm not saying that's good. That's just the way it was. So after you run out of, if you have to put a woman every year, eventually you're going to run out of ones that really make sense.
Hey, Paige gets snuffed again.
Well, Victoria.
I would have been fine,
Victoria
honestly,
too.
if they just said the Nitro girls go in. Like, do they just, who knows? But if they just put them in as a group, whatever, that's fine. Missy Hyatt.
Yeah, Missy Hyatt.
I think would deserve it. Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't her name Lonnie Kai, the one that went with when you wrecked?
Is she not in yet? Lonnie Kai?
Yeah. She's not even in.
She definitely deserves it. She's not.
What about Jumping Bomb Angels?
Sure. I mean, what were they there for like a year?
But really, yeah, someone who is determined. Like, if you're talking WWE performers, I'm surprised that Victoria isn't in yet. I mean, you could have Trish induct her. I mean, Victoria had quite a feud in WWE.
Victoria was one of my favorites growing up.
Yeah,
it's fun. I don't know. Queen Sharmell, Lexar. What do you think? Queen Sharmell. Is that an all-time favorite of yours?
No.
I thought
nothing against her. I'm sure she's nice, but.
Well, they might put Snook in.
Where's Johnny Stamboli? Where's Horseshoe?
Yeah, where's Simon Dean?
Simon Dean, I would say he's more deserving.
Well, I'd put Nova. Put Nova in the Hall of Fame.
I would say he's more deserving. He had like more longevity, wrestled, and I'm not even like demanding he goes in, but
like Pete Gas.
Pete Gas, yeah, I'd mark out for this. Is a true story. I know it's on the show, but we were at Mohegan Sun, and I saw Pete Gas playing like. I don't know. I don't know if it was roulette or something, but he was at a table, and I told my brother, I was like, Troy, that's Pete Gas, and he's like, who? And I was like, Pete Gas. Should we go over and say hello? And he just goes, why? And I was like, oh, we got to say hi to Pete Gas. So we went over and I said hi to Pete Gas. I was I was marking out for Pete Gas.
I'm a gas man.
I saw all the greats at Mohegan. I saw him, Balls Mahoney. Balls Mahoney actually was pretty cool. But I hate to say anything bad about people who passed away. But when I saw Howard Finkel, I was like, "Oh man, it's the Fink." And I went up to talk to him, and he just goes, "No autographs." And I was like, "Oh, I wasn't gonna ask for one." I was just saying, I don't know. He kind of like, I don't know, had big ego, Howard Finkel. But Arn Anderson was a real asshole when I met him. But he was very nice years later when I met him. And everyone tells me he's a completely different guy outside of WWE, that he was miserable the whole time working in WWE, which I can understand. Very nice when I met him a few years after that.
I'm Arn Anderson and all that is.
Yeah, he was playing slots, drinking the free beverages. You get free, if people don't know this, most casinos you get free alcoholic drinks if you so desire. Yep. And I was wearing a Four Horsemen jacket, and he paid no attention to me whatsoever. Wouldn't even acknowledge that I was like there.
Acknowledge me.
Songman, what's on your mind?
Well, what would you guys actually like to see for a big special match at WrestleMania? Because I think they could do a little tribute show to Scott Hall for Ricochet, because he knows the high flyer for doing the tribute for the first Mr. Ladder match for this, if they're going to put the title on the line at WrestleMania for this. You think this should be something over the Andre Memorial Battle Royal, even bigger?
Yeah, I've been wondering why they haven't brought this up. I thought it was a regular thing on the show every year. I honestly think that's a perfect fit for Omos. He wins the Battle Royal. I wouldn't have done the Aziz Omos match. Just have him, the two last guys in the Battle Royal. That's a cool WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
I thought they had that at the Royal Rumble. They had Omos basically take out Aziz and the other guy, Shanky.
Shanky? That's my boy.
Whoa, Shanky.
Oh, I forgot another mention of the Raw report.
Shanky.
Veer's
I forgot something. I got to add something to my Raw report, guys.
Uh-oh.
For about 6 months now, Veer is still coming to Monday Night Raw.
Hell yeah!
Veer, money.
Veer is coming.
Yeah.
So I thought it was funny. Someone posted Tom Brady had retired and come back.
If it's not true, Steven, I guess it's probably going to be him. He will be coming for Seth Rollins instead of Cody, probably.
Ooh, that would really put over night 2 of WrestleMania for Steven. If it was Veer versus Seth Rollins, the true dream match.
Have a challenge, yeah.
Have we? I predicted, which we still have time, but maybe it'll be next WrestleMania. I believe Shanky versus Veer will main event at WrestleMania Sunday.
Shanky.
Maybe when they go to 3 nights. Tazo the Greek, what is on your mind in the world of wrestling?
I was just thinking about a match they should have at WrestleMania, or at least in Saudi Arabia, is to have a bunch of gay dudes on a roof, and then the Battle Royal is like you throw the gay dude off the roof. Yeah, that would be good.
The roof.
Wasn't that the Money in the Bank ladder match?
By the way, they had just had the greatest mass execution in Saudi Arabia. They broke the record. It was the biggest mass execution in the history of Saudi Arabia. When what goes through your mind if you're working with these people and putting on shows, and the shows themselves are basically like propaganda saying how great the country is, and then like, oh yeah, they just killed 81 people one day. Like, yeah, it's an awesome place.
Yeah, I don't know about 81 people getting murdered or anything, but it sure sounds pretty hypocritical to me. I think that's the worst thing. Is the hypocrisy.
Yeah, it's a very rest in peace to the great comedian who had a very similar joke.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby.
Right.
I caught on there, Tazo. You're a good man. Are you a member of a gang? Like a 50s gang?
I'm
look
like
at the jacket. You look like,
He's
I was
with
trying to
Deuce
do
and
Razor
Domino.
Ramon. I was
Oh,
doing
that's
Razor Ramon, baby.
Did he wear a leather jacket though?
Deuce and Domino.
He wore like fuchsia pants and stuff.
I left my fuchsia pants upstairs.
Taza, do you get confused with confused with Jeff Goldblum at all?
No, not even a little bit.
No, he's the guy Jesus
Good.
from the Big Lebowski.
Don't fuck with the Jesus.
Oh shit!
He's in Batman. You did a good job in the new Batman.
I'm clearly out of my element.
John Torturo. Actually, I know his dog. I hang out with his dog at the dog park. For real. For real.
Are you that serial killer? He used to talk to his dog? The son of Sam?
I'm not the son of Sam. I'm the son of Tassa. Actually, I'm the son of Constantine. But anyway.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. Where's his dog at?
His dog is at the dog park like every day, 5 days a week. It's pretty crazy. John Torturo's dog.
Does he pick up the shit or not?
Is that the name of the dog? John Turturro's dog?
Right now, I'm blanking on the dog's name. But yeah, it's
you guys
there.
are tight though.
No, we're not tight. I don't know him. I really even shouldn't be saying that his dog is at the dog park.
Is he there with the dog? How do you know it's his dog?
No, he's with.
Is that just rumor on the street? Like, hey, check out the Chihuahua. That's John Turturro's dog.
It's with his dog walker. Like she.
How do you know it's a man, Martha? That you know who she is.
He checks her ID.
Her dog, his dog walker, is my friend and my weed dealer. You get it?
Alleged. This is all alleged.
Allegedly, yeah. Phoebe, the name of the dog.
Do you need a weed dealer anymore? Isn't it just legal, or is it still illegal?
No. I went to the store today. The store is about half a block from my house, literally.
So she just works there. She's not the dealer. She's just she's the cashier.
Look. No, she's she does. Forget all what she does and forget John Torturo. But I did pick up a pack of pink runts today at the store. You just walk.
Does that ruin the fun? All right, serious question. Does that ruin is it cooler to be like buying the weed from John Turturro's dog walker, like under the bushes? Isn't it more cool?
It's not cooler. It's a lot easier now, and it's less stressful because a lot of pot dealers.
But doesn't the danger add to
no, I prefer to just go to the pot store, and then there's like a cannabis store, and there's all these different types I can choose from. I can buy a pre-roll if I want for like $8, or I can spend
edibles.
Yeah, edibles, the whole deal. It's nice. It's simple. It's much better than having to go down to St. John Street and stick like $20 in a little hole.
It's been over a year since I've done any edibles.
I don't eat edibles. I
don't like the smoke. Mike Whitcomb says, "Say no to drugs, Tazo," but that's not drugs.
Mike who? Mike Cunt.
Whoa!
Brock Lesnar's former opponent.
Oh.
Sexy Lexar. Sexar. What's on your mind?
Well, I got two topics. So one, I secured my tickets for SmackDown for next Friday night.
Boom! Hell yeah! Ha!
SmackDown. See, this is the old logo, but
where is the show?
Brooklyn, Barclays Center.
I'll be waiting for you outside the Barclays Center, motherfucker.
Go sleep till.
That's nice.
Go sleep to Barclay.
And number two, outside the wrestling world, there's this guy named Tom Brady that's going back to football.
Yeah, never heard of the guy.
And there's memes going around about Ric Flair saying that he will never retire and he's going back to wrestling. So that reminds everybody about Ric Flair going back to wrestling, even though he had his last.
Well, wait a minute. Tom Brady is, in his early 40s. He's not like 70.
So
there's a big difference. Ric Flair was like in his prime when he was Tom Brady's age. He was like He's like that was like prime years for Ric Flair. It's probably like at his height. It's 30 years ago, man.
His last ride.
Like, I love Ric Flair. Don't get me wrong. He's one of my all-time favorites, but I mean, there is a big difference.
I would think about
it. I stand by Brady's decision because one of the things that I love about professional wrestling is the legends that we grew up watching can come back and still do something. That's very fun. John Elway's not going to walk out into the Super Bowl and throw the winning touchdown. Larry Bird's not going to come out and shoot a 3-pointer for the Celtics. Once they're retired, that's it. So, Tom Brady, as long as you can keep doing it, I say do it at a top level. He was the highest rated quarterback last year. He left the Patriots and won a Super Bowl when everyone thought like he was out of it. So I say keep doing it because once he is gone, he's not going to come back when he's like 50. So while you can do it, do it. Do it up. I like to see the older guys still out there doing it.
Like Ric Flair, like you
said.
No,
Ric Flair 70. If Ric Flair, I would like to see Ric Flair come out and woo and stuff. I don't want to see Flair come out and wrestle. He's had like heart problems and stuff.
It's not like a Dolph Ziggler coming back at 70. It really doesn't matter. It's Ric Flair, the greatest wrestler of all time. For him to cheapen his legacy or whatever for $500 or whatever he's going to get paid, it probably does not make sense.
Last thing he did recently was AAA, I think Triple Mania when he did the figure.
Yeah, but he didn't wrestle. I'm fine with him coming back for appearances or something, but he didn't have like a match. He did like a chop, and it didn't look particularly good. But I'd be fine with that.
How much for the chop? How much did he get paid?
Well, I think he did it for his brother.
He did a chop in a figure 4.
I'm still waiting for those Ric Flair wigs.
Do it up. You need a Ric Flair robe.
Red Titus has a good wig.
Red Titus. He's addicted to love. He's Red Titus. All right. Are you ready to control your narrative, Stellar Steven?
You've been warned.
What's the deal with that promotion that I don't understand?
They're
control your narrative.
Yes,
I think they did a show. I think in Orlando, and then I think they got one in 31. Well, they were in a bar, so that makes sense. I've been to bar shows, no seats, but I think they got a show on the 31st, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing if I can get it or find it because Killer Cross versus Vincent actually looked pretty interesting.
We'll see.
Eric Redbeard is in a tag team match, so I think it'll be interesting. I think people are just very preemptively shitting on it before even watching it.
I don't know. I've been wanting to like EC3 and stuff, but I remember seeing his promo on that last Ring of Honor show, and he just kind of rambled on.
I've gotten some interaction with him on Instagram. Like he posted a Caesar graphic of him, and I said E2 Brute, and he liked my comment and answered one of my other questions. So I'm slowly trying to get my way into that cult.
Well, Taza would be all about it. He's a big cult fan.
Yeah, we
it's like the Illuminati of wrestling, like Taza.
How many people showed up to their first thing? Was it like 20 people? I mean, was that what I was getting?
I didn't see the numbers yet, but I'm sure it was more than 20.
Yeah, it's like 27, dude.
I'm not shitting on them. I just saw something.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch a show, see what's happening. I don't have like hopes, but I'll watch it. I don't know.
I will say this. I'm sorry. I don't like names like create a wrestler or control your narrative wrestling.
Yeah, there's nothing in it. There's nothing in it about wrestling. that's been a problem too, because it sounds like an angle or like a faction. I don't know how you make that into a promotion.
I like Fight Club, and it's basically Fight Club, so
yeah,
that's why
I personally hate that kind of like a fake Fight Club stuff. To me, is really atrocious. That was one of the worst things on Raw when I was still watching it. Was the when they did the Raw Underground stuff. That was just horrible.
Well, I mean, the thing about Raw Underground, they can't do it as good as Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, but if they had just done longer fights like a UWF, I think I would have enjoyed that.
I don't know. I don't think so. Not for me. It's not for me. But if you dig it, that's cool.
Yeah, I think if it's not for somebody, I'm sorry to not have my wrestling cap on. What was that promotion that was going around in New York where it had more of a tournament kind of feel to it?
It wasn't House of Glory, was it?
Yeah, it was Sapolsky, right? Who was running that thing? Evolution, was it, or whatever?
Oh, but that was still wrestling, though.
Evolve was in Florida.
It's
Evolve
gone, right?
Still wrestling. Yeah, it's not around.
It sort of had that feel of serious side to the.
It was serious, but it was still like wrestling. This is more like, I think, like
there's some cinema to it. That's what interests me a little bit.
Yeah, see, I'm really not a fan of cinematic matches.
What are we talking? Fucking invisible hand grenades? What the hell are we talking about?
Cinematic, where it's like it's recorded and edited with like it's got like music.
Yeah,
it looks like a movie instead of like a wrestling.
Like WWE has been doing with Undertaker, and like WCW kind of did it with Sting and Vader.
Well, no, that was more of a vignette. I would say the WCW, they didn't have any cinematic matches except for maybe like Sting and Vampiro when they fought out in the graveyard.
Fascinating. It's like West Side Story.
To me, it's like I'm not trying to be mean. Honestly, it's like for me, it's like some of the worst stuff I've ever seen. That kind of stuff.
How many shows have they had?
I haven't seen any of their stuff. I mean, cinematic matches in general.
Got it.
What about the Matt Hardy?
I hated that. Yeah, I hated that. I hated the Hardy compound stuff. I know a lot of people loved it at the time, but it was not my deal.
It looks like there's a little niche here that you can't stick your fat nose into there, Jackie.
Hey, fine if people like it. I'm not really sure it's everyone's love. I mean, I think they liked the Hardy stuff because no one was doing it at the time. It was so weird. But there was bits of that I liked. But when they actually when they did that whole Impact, the whole show, the whole 2-hour show was that was to me like unbearable.
It was Jumping the Shark, the Tornado Shark.
Yeah, it was not good to me. I did like the one with Sting and Darby Allin. That was pretty fun, but overall, they're not my deal.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to niche wrestling, I'm more into promotions like Dog Legs.
If you're gonna try something different, I mean, more power to them, I guess. Instead of just doing, there is so much televised wrestling out there. I guess you try to do something, out of the box. I don't know. We'll see.
Like prepubescent girls wrestling?
I know the puzzle box.
Horror wrestling?
Horror.
I mean, they did that in Mexico, right? When they had Batman versus...
in Japan, too. Like Leatherface and Freddy Krueger and stuff.
That's some good stuff in Japan, and Memphis did that.
I don't know if it's necessarily good stuff, but it was good stuff.
No, I meant like you said Freddy Krueger and Jason.
Yeah,
there was a Freddy Krueger
that's particularly good.
In Memphis.
It worked in Japan where the fans sold the.
Yeah, they actually get scared of stuff. Like they're running from the guy with the chainsaw and stuff.
That's why Tiger Jeet Singh was so much fun to watch.
And he completely sucked. But yeah,
dude, Tiger.
Well, don't say that in Ontario. Tiger is a.
That's fine, but I mean, as a wrestler, he's the total shits. But I mean, he was over.
I remember he wasn't over. He did.
My sword's gonna get bloody real soon.
I mean, the guy was terrible. Me just was.
Better than Jinder Mahal.
Well, I don't think he was, honestly. I mean, he's more over, but I don't think he's a better wrestler.
Muhammad Hassan.
Different country.
What about I like All right. Christian Calero wants to know Hulk Hogan says that he will never wrestle again due to past injuries and surgeries. Are you sad? I'm heartbroken. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm sad that the guy's broken down. I don't like to see anyone like in pain and stuff. I'm not some sadistic asshole. I'm not fucking Tazo who's loving it.
I was privileged enough to go to Bound for Glory in 2011 and see Hulk Hogan versus Sting for the final time ever.
Whew. Bound for Glory. Queen Charmel is going. We already went over this. Fucking Queen Charmel. Do you think Ridge Holland should be released from WWE after injuring Big E? And I don't know. I'd have to know more about it. I only saw the clip. Yeah, and Pete Dunne is now Butch.
Butch. Oh yeah, it was something else. So
Oh,
they've given
God.
him the name. They've given him the name of a bushwhacker. Like, I don't know. The bruiserweight Pete Dunne was just fine. You did not have to change it. You know.
I think Vince likes Peaky Blinders.
But what is the point of NXT and NXT UK? NXT's televised on like actual television, and NXT UK is on their network. Why do you do all this? And you establish these people so then the fans know them when they actually come up to the show, and then like it's like just like a totally new guy. He's got a new character. He looks different. Now he's called, and that's not an upgrade. Not that Pete Dunne's the greatest name in the world, but Butch.
My grandfather had a dog named
This
Butch.
is like the big creative name, Butch.
And they make him look like a paper boy from the 50s.
They're like more like the 20s. Back when Tazo was a young man.
Butch and Gunther.
I actually have a hat just like that, to be honest.
One because his balls have the hairiest bush.
Whoa, Tazo? I don't know. Tazo looked pretty smooth.
Was this a Manscaped ad coming?
So you think Butch has really hairy balls?
For Bush. They
Huh?
call him Butch.
That's
You can
goofy.
see that. I hope what happened to Goosey? Hope he's all right. Aside from wrestling and film, what other fan conventions would Jack and Incher go to? A big chess convention.
Chest Air Convention.
No, chess, the game with rooks and knights, and I would go to a board game convention. Actually, I like old school board games. Monopoly. Actually, I probably wouldn't go to that, but I don't know. A toy convention. I do like action figures.
How about the AVN Fan Expo?
No, that doesn't interest me.
Maybe.
I know you perverts. You'd go. You and Tazo. You guys would go to the. Guys would
Maybe the
jerk each other
NCAA.
off.
Maybe the NCAA Final Four fan convention where you
That's
just
not
Make their
interesting.
Kool-Aid.
I don't watch college sports. I don't give a fuck.
How about a comic book convention?
What about college
I don't
chess?
read comics, but like there's other people at the Comic Con though. I went to Comic Con years ago, like before they were like real huge back in the 90s. It was actually a good time back in Boston. Bought a bootleg Fantastic Four, the old original movie back when you couldn't. It's been released since, but at the time it wasn't released. The Roger Corman one.
I actually might be going to the convention this weekend. Some AEW wrestlers are doing.
Do it up. I'll be going to Monster Expo in a couple weeks. Next month.
Where's that?
In New Bedford. Not New, is it New Bedford? No, Fairhaven, Massachusetts.
Why are there so many Satanists up north? What's going on there, man?
It's the water, man.
Satanists don't really worship Satan. I know you're gonna say they're
all
doing all this bullshit, but they really are trolls. Like the Church of Satan, they're just a bunch of trolls.
Aleister Crowley.
He is the king fucking troll, but he was a troll before troll was a thing.
He was
just a bunch of, all those people are just a bunch of bullshit. And you bought into it. You're a mark for Satanism.
Not at all. I just know that some of
you're a mark because you believe it. You're like a backwoods hillbilly watching the wrestling. Going, oh my God, look there! Oh boy, that Russian's hitting him with the chain, Martha. Oh God, you're just like that. Work. You're watching the Satanists and you're thinking, oh my God, they're gonna sacrifice little Billy to Beelzebub.
He thinks New World Order is not just a faction.
It's not. The Jew World Order? What did you say?
Hey, don't get us kicked
off. Whoa, don't get me canceled.
We love Juju B. She's a heady original.
That's right.
All
and the
hail
Candy.
I'm zooming. Juju.
Shalom.
This question is for Inch only. What is his thoughts on Jake something leaving Impact? We'll have to ask again next week. I know that's one of Tazo's boys.
Jake something?
I thought this was a joke last week, Tazo. Like they were saying, like they couldn't remember the last name. That's really a wrestler's name today, Jake something. His name is Jake something.
What?
Jake who?
That would be a better name, honestly. If they were like Jake who, coming to the ring, Billy who,
like Jim Neidhart.
Have you ever dreamed about peeing in the woods, but it turns out that you pissed the bed?
Sounds like a wet dream.
Sounds like you speak from experience, like so.
No.
What's Steven Butler's memories of attending WrestleMania 18? Did he go to Access for the weekend? And who did he meet? What type of memorabilia were on display? And which match had a bigger action, Rock and Hogan or Hunter and Jericho? I think everyone in the world knows the answer to that one. The last part of it.
I couldn't wait for Hunter and Jericho to end so I could get out of there. No, it was Rock and Hogan, but went to Access. We actually saw Vince arriving. It was from a great distance, but we could clearly tell, hey, there's Vince. I could have walked up to Linda. Linda was walking around the fan access, but I was too scared. And plus, she had guys around her. I'm wondering if that was her security or not. But no, I didn't actually meet any celebrities at fan access. There was a father there with his kid who complained to one of the workers who said, we've been here and my kid hasn't seen we haven't gotten a single autograph. It's like, I went up to where the autographs were for fan access there, and I thought, I'm not going to stand in line for hours and only get it like 5 seconds or whatever with a wrestler. And I thought, you probably would be better off getting photos. I noticed that I think it was DDP was posing for photos that for the fans. I wish I could have. I probably regret I could have gotten a photo with DDP, but I did get one with Patterson and Briscoe. They posed for photographs and they signed autographs, so that was nice.
I would have asked Briscoe to stretch me.
And there was this. They had the really cool thing that I also did buy, that you could watch some clips. And you could add your own commentary to the clips, and you got a VHS copy of it. And so I watched the Royal Rumble where Triple H won the Royal Rumble, and added my own commentary to it. Oh, that was cool. Memorabilia, there was Undertaker's bike. There was his hearse, and there was Vince's Corvette that Steve Austin put cement in. That was cool. I really like that. But yeah, Access was great. And also the big celebrity appearances was Trish and Kurt Angle did one. And then I think I mentioned this on the show before. I heard The Rock's music playing, and they had this ring set up there. And so I had to climb a bleacher, to climb up the back of the bleacher, climb over, and there was The Rock making an appearance. And I thought that was cool too. So, but yeah, fan access was fantastic. WrestleMania 18, we were all pumped.
Pump it up.
Yeah, the card wasn't all that great, but we were all pumped. You know, we were cheering for anything that was happening. They had the Fink come out. They had Lawler and Jim Ross got their own entrances, and we were cheering them. The Fink came out to do the announcing. We were cheering him. And every time the wrestlers came out, I was running over to the edge, running over to the barricades, taking photographs of all the wrestlers that came out. Goldust, Kurt Angle, The Undertaker, not the Undertaker, Kane, Triple H, Steve Austin, The Rock. Somebody got in the way. Like when Hogan came down, somebody put their sign up and blocked I could have gotten a good photo of Hogan coming down, but and then I got, but probably one of my favorite pictures of all was after the Undertaker beat up Ric Flair. Ric Flair slowly walked back up the aisleway, and he had blood all over his face. I got a perfect shot of Ric Flair, classic Ric Flair. But yeah, I thought that was great. I mean, WrestleMania 18 as a fan, seeing wrestling live, it was fantastic. But unfortunately, it's been now, has it been 20 years?
20 years.
Yes, it's been 20 years since WrestleMania 18, and they haven't come back to Toronto. So I really like to see them come back to Toronto.
I'm just so glad, Steven. You got what people forget every time at WrestleMania. This was the only WrestleMania, if you look back, Lita had a match when she was in that dead crowd after Rock and Hogan in that triple threat with Trish and Jazz.
Trish came out, and she came out. Her trunks were a Canadian flag. She had the Canadian flag on her ass.
Damn. Yeah. I bet you've never been more aroused by the Canadian flag before.
Patriotism. He was pitching a flag.
Alexa, better non-wrestling sports related video game ever played. Pitfall for the Atari 2600. That's the game of all games. I'm a really big fan of Super Metroid. I stopped playing video games at the N64, so anything that came after that, I have no idea.
Okay, Boomer.
What the hell? You're like 87.
Okay, Doomer.
You're playing Pong and stuff like.
I like Skyrim, but Elden Ring.
That bullshit.
It's like fantasy RPG role playing, but Elden Ring has gotten a lot of reviews, gotten a lot of praise lately, so I might have to play more of that.
Well, the word on the street, the best game coming out, Tazo, and all you fine folks, is the Ugandan Giant by Wrestleman. Now that's a game.
Look at your game, girl.
That game looks fly for all the cool kids on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Best wrestling game, Fire Pro Wrestling World. Tons of creative.
I've got almost 1,000 views on my latest TikTok video, Tazo.
Not bad, man. You got to get on that Reddit, is what you got to get on.
Reddit? That's like where that's where all the weirdos are. I bet you're on there all the time reading all that
No, I'm on
conspiracy people eating babies and stuff.
not at all. I'm on 4chan and Stormfront.
Oh, you're like on the QAnon stuff.
Yeah, on Reddit, everyone's talking about this. All the kids are talking about Elder Ring, and I'm like, just get out of here.
Not just all you need some Qbert.
Yeah, Cubert's good.
Dig
Qbert.
Dug.
He's on Blue and on.
I actually last week went to what was this place? Flashback with my brother. It's a new it's a burger place on Main Street, Hyannis, but they have all old school arcade games and pinball machines, and we had a good time.
I actually get my my questions answered.
This is a little fun fact here. People probably don't know this, but if you go back and listen to old school in your head, I was a proponent of old school pinball machines, and Intra was not a fan of those. He became a fan of them later on. So
he's a pinball with it.
Yeah, he jumped on the bandwagon.
Such a wrist.
But it was old school pinball, but they also even had a new one, which I didn't realize that they make new pinball machines, but they make new pinball games. You know, they like the old ones, but they're cool. They had a new Star Wars one, which was fun. You could be all the different characters from the original Star Wars, which they call it Star Wars. They don't call it that New Hope bullshit. Because when me and Tazo and Steven were young, it was just Star Wars. It wasn't called New Hope. It was fucking Star Wars. Now they call it New Hope. Fuck that.
There was
it was Star Wars.
There's a bunch of pinball video games. I've seen a Kiss one for like on PlayStation before.
All right. Where are we?
Star
Would
Wars,
Jack
a new
drink
Coke.
beer flavored coffee? I mean, I honestly, when I drank alcohol, I was never really a big beer drinker. I don't like the taste of beer. I like hard liquor. I like rum, and honestly, my favorite thing is bourbon. I like bourbon. I like the hard stuff. I was never a big fan of a beer.
You drink this one?
Nitro. I mean, I would try. I probably wouldn't like it. I don't like the taste of beer, so
Nitroglycerin.
I'm not against trying it, but I like coffee. It tastes like coffee. I'll put that out there. You start flavoring coffee, it tastes like shit, especially when you drink it black. Because you just take all this stuff it's just chemicals and it's artificial flavoring. You want plain, good, freshly ground black coffee. Once I started drinking it black, I used to think it was all bullshit. They'd say, oh, it's got chocolate hints, and it's got hints of burnt caramel and all this stuff. And I think, oh, what a bunch of shit this is. But once I started drinking black, you could pick all that up. I just want plain coffee. I like a dark roast. Medium roast is good too. Not a big fan of light roast, but I don't want any flavored bullshit.
I'm intrigued in drinking this. So
You're drinking piss?
No, this one.
Oh.
Guinness.
Why?
Guinness. I don't know.
Why do you want to drink that?
I don't know.
Well, then drink it. I don't give a shit. The fuck do I care?
He's a survivalist.
It's probably just bad.
Is it coffee in a can? Is that coming in a can? That coffee?
Yeah, it's cold brew.
So it has a little piece of plastic in there. When you open the top, it like creates foam or something like that.
Cold brew and iced coffee only for me.
Sounds complicated.
Do you like coffee, Lexar?
I had like Starbucks.
Yeah, Starbucks is good. But what do you probably get it with like a ton of sugar and cream and stuff?
No, it's not that.
You drink Guinness? Do you know what do you like Guinness? Like, not everyone likes Guinness, even if you like.
You ever
beer.
drink Bailey's from a shoe?
Yeah, Frappuccino. That's like pure sugar and cream. Because that doesn't even taste like coffee. You're drinking like a milkshake.
Women and like women wearing Uggs named Karen drink Frappuccinos.
Dressed like Han Solo.
Yeah, Yeah, that's right. They're all going to a stormtrooper meeting with their boots on.
Is Jack an insomniac? No. I sleep. I sleep when I want to sleep. I can stay up. Not so much now that I eat well and all this, but back in a few years ago, I could stay up for days if I wanted to, but I go to sleep when I want to. Amtrak or Delta Airlines? I'd much rather fly than take a train.
Southwest.
A train cost, if you take a train, the Amtrak, it costs you like as much as flying, sometimes more. And it takes it way longer.
Yes.
You can just fly. You can get round trip flights really cheap right now.
But you can
5.9 and 3/4.
But you get like stunning views of mountains and
do you want to sit on the train and it's all bumpy for like 3 days?
well, the plane's bumpy too.
You
Yeah, but it takes a couple hours.
So
Well, I'd rather get the hell where I want to go in a couple hours.
I'd rather be on the train and play my harmonica in the corner.
well, there
Are
you
you a
go.
hobo?
Play Black Sabbath, the Wizard.
Tazo hopping on the trains.
I've been watching train videos on Reddit. You don't fuck around on the train tracks, man.
Dude, George Harrison and what's his name, George Carlin, also did that Thomas show, so makes it even
What?
better to watch. Yeah,
What the
They
fuck are
did,
you
like-
talking about?
they narrated. I think it was Ringo Starr. It was Ringo Starr and George Carlin that actually narrated Thomas.
What?
What?
I don't know what
We're
what
talking
does
about
this mean?
trains. We're talking about trains.
They rode a train?
No, they
I'm sure they
narrated the
did.
Thomas show.
They did what?
You were just eating edible and watch Thomas. Just me.
I don't know what any of this means.
Means nothing. Nothing means nothing. I'm a
I
nihilist.
think
not
I feel
Satanist.
like we're just talking about some other, like two different conversations.
We were just on
Awesome.
trains, so I brought up a train show.
A train show?
You're
Thomas
a boomer.
the Tank
Never mind.
Engine? What is happening?
Moving on.
Shining
Lexar's
train.
gonna jump
An
on
acid,
the
an
whole
acid
train.
dream.
When
That's
Todd's
the
just talking
Tank
about
Engine.
trains, he's talking about like down at the bathhouse and stuff.
You ever just run on the tracks instead of walk on them?
No, because the dangerous part about the tracks is you can twist your ankle because it's uneven.
I've seen a scene like that.
You're only going to get hit by a train if you're inebriated or drugged out or something like that. If you have any sense to you, like you hear the train literally miles away.
That's where all the bondage people hang out at. It is the train tracks, actually.
I mean, not where I live. I mean, I'm in like a civilized neighborhood, but like I'm not a moron. I wouldn't like go walking down on the subway or something. That's a different type of train. And then you
What's
get like all the like the Neanderthals and stuff living underground.
Yeah, all these accents are
Oh,
from
the
India.
other day when I was in Boston, I was walking. I'll be honest, Boston is getting parts of Boston. It used to be I could walk anywhere and felt fine, but there's parts of it. It's fucking just open drug use and fucking bump.
They're
Like
stealing Amazon
people
merch.
just laying. No, not the Amazon merch. These are fucking guys laying drugged out on the fucking sidewalk and stuff. And there was trying to openly sell you drugs and stuff. And there was a guy the other day I was walking and it was like a business guy in front of me. I wasn't paying too much attention. We were watching him. Actually, it was by the Boston Opera House, pretty nice part of Boston. And this younger, I think he's homeless, started asking the guy something. He's like, "What? Excuse me?" He's asking him if he wanted a blowjob. And he's like, "What? Excuse me?" And then he's like, "You want a blowjob?" He's like, "What?" And then he just ran off.
Did he sell you cheeseburgers and a toaster?
No.
The guy say, "What the hell is even that?" He went, "What the hell is even that?"
He said it was too big.
And then I think I saw Tazo because the Black Israelites were back, and I think Tazo was there about ready to kiss their feet or something.
Whoa. Well, I don't know about that, but that guy.
Tazo's a 5%er, actually.
Right. Well, if I had to go to jail, if I went to prison, I'd probably join the Nazi, the Aryan.
They were talking.
Whoa.
No, they'd accept you.
What are you talking about?
You?
Well,
they'd accept you.
Look, when you go to prison, you got to join a gang. You have no choice.
Yeah,
man.
but I don't know if are you pure blood?
I mean, I don't think Greek people are considered white by
Yeah, I
white.
don't think they'd accept you.
Yeah, because
they'd accept me. I'm German and Italian.
You're
going
white.
to make the trip to Atlantis.
To where? Venice Beach?
But
Atlantis.
not that I'm going to join that. But the they were. I do like to stop and listen when the one guy's dressed like a medieval knight or something, like a wizard. I don't know what the hell's going on. He had like it was almost like a wrestling thing because it looked like armor, but it was like made out of like padding. It was very bizarre. But the this time they were talking about Russia, and they were talking about how they were going to drop the nuclear bombs on the Black and Brown brothers in America. And I was like, I don't think that's how bombs work. Like they would just drop on certain like nationalities, and when the white people just walk around and just be like, oh, we're totally fine. The nuclear missile just blew up, but it doesn't affect me somehow. I don't know. It's very weird. What's the best memories of Nikhil? Questions. I'm a big fan of Nikhil. He's a good man. He stayed up late too. I felt bad, but I had some technical problems. Now it is time for Nikhil questions.
Nice segue.
Huh? Good timing. Hulk Hogan is retired from wrestling. What are your favorite match of his in WWE, TNA, and WCW? Well, I'll be honest. As a child, I hated Hulk Hogan. I rooted for Roddy Piper. I thought Hercules Hernandez won the title at Saturday night's main event. I was not a Hogan fan at all. But when he became Hollywood Hogan, things changed. I was a big fan. So, but I guess that being said, I can't say I was really a big fan of his matches as Hollywood Hogan. I just kind of liked the whole personality and the promos and stuff. He had pretty bad matches. My favorite match, honestly, is probably the Rock Hogan match from WrestleMania 18. Because then the only time I liked the red and yellow Hogan was when he was old, because it was just like this weird thing. It was almost like a guy from another era, like was transported in time, and now he's like wrestling modern people. It was very strange, but it was almost impossible to hate him at that point.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. WrestleMania 18. WCW Hogan, I just hated that whole thing right from his very first match. It was like Ric Flair. He took on Ric Flair, and Ric Flair just bumped for him. He hardly had any offense. And
yeah, that stuff was terrible. Like the pre Hollywood Hogan run in WCW, that stuff was terrible. I don't think I liked any of his stuff then.
Hey Butler, did you like the team of Hogan and Edge?
Hogan and what?
Which one?
Edge, Adam Copeland.
Oh, I don't remember it. I mean, I remember it happening, but like, I don't really have any much memories of. But I remember like that one where it was Hogan. Was it Hogan Macho? It was Hogan and Macho Man versus like everyone versus the Dungeon of Doom.
The three towers.
Those were the worst things I've ever seen.
That was such a joke.
Because I love the Black Mask Hogan. Sorry, go ahead.
Because Macho Man forgot to pin Flair, and he had to run back into the cage and pin Flair.
They had like this really cheap looking frying pan he hit him with, and it was just so bad. That was some of the worst stuff. And Hogan versus when Beefcake turned bad, and what was he, the Butcher? That was like, I'm watching that thinking, good Lord, this is amazing. Like I was more of a WCW NWA fan as a kid. And like, this is the main event. I was used to like great matches watching, like Vader and Sting and before that like Flair and Funk and stuff, and now I'm getting Hulk Hogan versus Butcher. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, well, what about that? I don't think nobody remembers quite much because of that point. What was that whoop he had in 2000 when he was battling Kidman? Wasn't it like a biker?
Oh, that was when Vince Russo was booking. I know. I didn't care for that either. What did he have on his jacket? He had something on it, like I don't know. But that was not a good run for Hogan for me either. When he was feuding with Billy Kidman, he was like Stone Cold Hogan at that time. That wasn't particularly good. I did like when the Undertaker Hogan match wasn't very good when he went back, but I did like when Undertaker like dragged him around on the back of the motorcycle. Hogan had some fun matches when he came back though, especially the Rock one. But I think he had a fun one with Kurt Angle. He didn't work well with Triple H.
I remember when Brock Lesnar killed Hogan when he gave him the bear hug. That was a pretty good moment.
Yeah, he gave him powerbomb too.
Blood on him.
Yeah,
put the blood on him.
Yeah. Well, I guess you forgot Mr. America.
Oh, and Mr.
Yeah,
America.
that was fun. I like that.
Never confirmed.
Hogan versus Vince McMahon.
I'm not really a big fan of that, but
dude, the visual from that with Vince with the blood in his face, smiling like the devil, and then Roddy Piper coming in with the pipe, that was some cool stuff.
I mean, Hogan versus Andre Wrestlemania 3 was a big match to me as a kid. I know like people look at it now and say it sucked or whatever, but if you're just looking at work rate or whatever, but it was a great moment. That match actually has very good psychology. Let's see. The ladder match for the WWE NXT North American title at Stand and Deliver will feature Carmelo Hayes defending against 4 other competitors. The first qualifying match will take place next Tuesday as Cameron Grimes take on Santos Escobar. Who will win?
Santos Escobar beat him.
The fuck? I don't know. Santos Escobar is winning, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Francisco Escobar will win. Who the fuck are these people?
Didn't they take away everything that people liked about Cameron Grimes? Now he's just like a guy who's like clean shaven and stuff.
No,
he's still like this dirty dude, didn't he?
Still looks kind of dirty. Yeah.
That was Pablo Escobar.
He got shot in the head, didn't he? Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa steel cage match for the AEW women's title. Who's winning? That should be that.
Thunder Rosa's winning the belt tomorrow.
Thunder Rosa.
I want Britt to keep it.
Yeah.
But it makes sense for the babyface to win when you have the cage and it keeps everyone out, unless they find a way to sneak some weapons in or something.
I want the belt on Jimmy Hayter.
I want to keep the belt on Britt. The Inner Circle have finally split. Your favorite memories and feuds, and I think they probably should have split a little earlier. I think would have meant more, but I really liked the initial run of the Inner Circle. El Champion, Chris Jericho, that was a great run. Will FTR hire a new manager? I think so. Who will it be? My guess is Arn Anderson, since Arn's without anybody with now Cody. I think it's a natural fit. FTR, you turn him babyface. Everyone loves Arn. It works. And then Tully comes back with another team and they feud, and you have a little bit of interaction with Tully and Arn that makes the fans happy. Do it up. As I said last week, though, that whole angle was real shit. Like it could have been good, but like it was way too rushed. It happened in like 3 seconds, and it didn't really make much sense. And as soon as they said to Tully, "You're fired," they just like cut away. It wasn't good at all. According to Fightful Select, Fala Ba, who
is Impact Wrestling?
Yeah.
Is no longer with Impact. Did you enjoy his run? I thought it was a woman, I don't even fucking know. I've never. This
He
could
looks
just
like
be a
a-
made up name, as far as I know.
No,
Could
he's
just be a
a-
big
Oh, that's
work
legit.
on me. I don't know.
Yeah.
he looks like a sumo guy.
Falaba,
Falaba, that's right.
and it's spelled Fallah, and their last name is Bah, like a goat. Bah, like the fucking
Yeah,
power goat.
Paula Akbar.
Falaba. Ma. I don't know. You a big fan of Falaba? Anyone?
I couldn't name you a match.
No,
Lexar, do you have a favorite Falaba memory?
I'm almost a fan of Falaba as in Jake something.
You lie. Do you agree with this statement? AEW has done such a tremendous job building its world title, and the competition is so strong at the top of the card that becoming a two-time champion will mean something really incredible. I agree, and I do think the first two-time champ will be a big deal, but I don't think they've done a great job with Hangman Page as champ.
Yeah, same here. It's been underwhelming.
And the match, a lot of good match. Like his match were the Archer match was awesome, and I thought the Cole match. But to me, even though I love the matches, but the more important part is the build. And so if you had a better build to those, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's just not cut out to be champ.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's better as a challenger for a title and not wearing the belt. Much like I'd take it off of him, I think
it will be a big deal. Like I don't know if Jericho would. I know he's gotten in really good shape, so maybe, but I would see more likely Kenny Omega becoming the first two-time champion. I do think that would be a big deal. Kenny returns and eventually wins the title. Favorite memories of Generation Me, Max and Jeremy Buck.
Fucking fuck.
This is Impact Wrestling. They were young kids, skinny. I think they were with Victoria for a while as well.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Or
she was their MILF, as the kids say.
Milker, I'd like to friend. Fondle? I don't know.
Whatever you're into.
Does Nikhil sit around watching tapes of fucking old TNA Impact shows?
Yeah, his favorite match.
I have a VHS tape right here, Tazo.
I like to rewatch the Clockwork Orange House of Fun match every day.
See, okay, the Roddy Piper thing there, that's a best of kind of a deal. I'm always into a best of a wrestler. I couldn't go back to watch, TNA Impact episode 933.
I'll be honest, I'm with you, Tazo. I've never quite understood the idea of, if you never seen it before, I could get it. But I remember when people were all up in arms that like WWE Superstars and like Sunday Night Heat weren't on the network. I'm like, who the hell wants to go watch this? Like, maybe if you watch a couple things, it'd be kind of fun. But I mean, for one thing, it would take you like 3 years or something to just sit down and watch all this. Like, and that's with like no breaks. Like, I don't want to just watch the
Raven stuff.
All the old Saturday nights. I mean, Saturday night's main events would be fun, but all like the Saturday morning shows, like, I don't know.
Velocity had some good stuff.
I'm not watching that bullshit. I watched it when it was on, and that's it. I don't need to rewatch it.
It's nice to have a catalog of, you can end up with all these DVDs and tapes where you can go back and look at someone's first appearance.
Exactly. If like, oh, this was fun. This was Edge's. I don't know, whoever it is. But do I want to sit and watch 10 years of Velocity? No.
Yeah, no.
I want to watch Regal and Benoit over and over.
I went back and I watched Razor Ramon's debut match.
Yeah, see, now something like that would be fun. Yeah.
And the guy on color commentary with Vince McMahon was Mr. Perfect. So that was kind of nice too.
Yeah.
I hope Nikhil does something with this deep dive into obscure wrestling that he watches. Hopefully he will get a job with AEW since he's an Indian, like Tony Khan, I believe, is also or some sort of Middle Eastern. What the hell did I say wrong this time? Maybe Nikhil can get a job since he's like so into this, unless he's going to waste the next 20 years of his life watching old.
Do it up. You gotta if you love it.
Tell that boy to get a job.
I will say I did get Kevin Kleinrock after Tony Khan bought
Pakistani.
But no, he didn't buy Pakistan. After Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor, Kevin Kleinrock, he put out like, "Hey Tony, if you're looking for more content, I have all like 10 episodes of Wrestling Society." all 10 hours of footage. I thought it was very funny. Thoughts on this?
We get Jimmy Jacob.
Thoughts on this quote, Chavo Guerrero. In WWE, they micromanage you at times, and in AEW, they didn't do enough, I felt they really need to help a lot of the young guys just put things in the right spots. These guys are such talented wrestlers and such talented athletes, but sometimes it's a spot fest. Yeah, I don't know. It's really, I guess, I don't know. I don't know. I think that's more for someone who's like actually a wrestler to know. The first SmackDown to take place in the WWE Performance Center because of the pandemic happened on this day 2 years ago. I don't know. Whatever. I haven't watched WWE in 3 years. I don't know. This happened 2 years ago. I wasn't watching it.
Never again.
Was this when they had like the TV, the computer screen fans?
I think that wasn't right away.
This was just later. no one.
But it was just like no one. Exactly. They were performing in front of nobody, and
it was in the performance center.
To me, that's just awful. Like wrestling needs an audience for interaction. Watching wrestlers perform in front of no one, I felt bad for the wrestlers because I would think you'd feel dumb, like you're in there and you're like rolling around with a dude in his underwear, and you just kind of look at no one, and you're just like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
Well, I thought it was entertaining for Bailey, for example, shutting up Michael Cole doing dead audience.
That was the only entertaining thing about it. She took advantage of no fans in there because you could hear them talk, and especially Bailey.
She could shit talk Michael Cole.
Yeah.
And Triple H was
nice thick ass.
Triple H was on commentary too, so
she has an ass.
William Hurt sadly passed away. Favorite movies of his? Yeah, that's too bad. Great actor.
Body Heat.
My favorite William Hurt movie. I don't know. I'd have to think. I'm not sure. Offhand, my favorite William Hurt movie, but a very good actor. Anyone have a favorite William Hurt movie? Whoa. So there was a mouse running by here. I'm in my basement, by the way. All right. Thoughts on what?
William Hurt fans here.
I don't know. What do you have a favorite? What's that weird sci-fi horror one? That one's pretty cool. Something State or
was he on a movie in a movie network or something like that?
No, Broadcast News.
Was he in? Oh, no.
It was Broadcast News.
Oh, Broadcast News.
Yeah, my favorite
was Altered States. That's probably my favorite William Hurt movie. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. Maybe it doesn't hold up. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not like these guys sitting around watching all these Velocities and Sunday Night Heat and WWE Shotgun Saturday Night. I like to watch new stuff I've not seen.
That's where Regal and Raven had their best stuff.
Maybe so. But I saw it when it happened. That's it. I lived it. It's gone. It's in the past. No, I like to watch something new.
You're not watching Ice Ribbon or stuff like that. Chikara.
Yeah, no, I'm not watching this shit.
Old Chikaras. You're like, yeah, I want to watch that old Chikara where Eddie Kingston first wrestled as
Might be fun.
Diamonds.
He wrestled like that basketball dude and stuff. Thoughts on he wrestled like the Fire Ant. I remember I was at a convention once and somebody no, I don't want to be mean, but they were like they asked me like, oh, because I was doing interviews. So I was interviewing the people at the thing. You know, like, do you want to interview? You know, they had someone at their booth. I was like, yeah, sure. And it was, and like, oh yeah, I've got Green Ant. And I was like, I don't want to be a dick. I made like an excuse to not, because like I don't fucking know this guy, the Green Ant. Maybe he went on to be. Did the Green Ant be? Was he really like Cesaro or something? I don't know. Thoughts on Mandy Rose and a 41-year-old Dolph Ziggler being the top champions in WWE developmental? I don't. I think I've been saying this for years with NXT. The problem is it can't be both developmental and the cool alternative show. They established it, which I thought was kind of genius, as they really made it their own alternative brand. So it was like the cool indie show with all, at that time, all the top indie guys were there. You know, you had Gargano. They just signed everyone. And so I thought that was really smart. But when they did that, it really just became its own brand. And it was guys that weren't learning to wrestle. These guys had wrestled for like 10 years on the indie. They just basically made their own brand. Now they're going back to make it developmental, which in a way I understand, because it's like, well, we have this as a show with all these people that the hardcore fans like, but we're not going to ever push most of these people on the main show. We want this to be something that actually develops our top guys on the main brands of the future. I personally think they should have two separate things. They should have the NXT that they established as a third brand with all the cool indie guys and just keep them there. And then an actual developmental, which shouldn't be televised, because I don't think it does any favors to anybody to show people training to wrestle, because you see them and you think, well, these guys suck, but it's not their fault. If you've had like 2 matches, you're not going to be any good. And if you're training to wrestle, you shouldn't really be on TV. You should wrestle, you know, especially when you're just a trainee, and then eventually wrestle in front of a crowd. Then they can maybe move them to the NXT brand, and then eventually to the main show. But I don't think you can have it 2 separate things. So I don't think if you had established it as it was, as the cool third brand, you could move Dolph Ziggler over there. It gives him something to do when he's stale. It kind of reestablishes him, and then he works with a bunch of cool different wrestlers. So that works. Or you could even send him to developmental, and he works with people who need, you know, it to help season them. I don't know. I just don't think now you're televising actual developmental. I don't think that's, and no one watches it. It's not like cool. It was legit like a cool show that people really like. People used to really look forward to the TakeOver pay-per-views. That was probably like the highlight of WWE for a while. Has Jack seen the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix and thoughts? Yes, I have. And I'm in the minority. I actually really liked it. A lot of people completely hate it, but I thought it was a fun, just a slasher movie. A lot of killing. I don't expect like a slasher movie to be like Citizen Kane or something.
Leatherface is canceled.
I see. It was funny too, because people hated that scene before it even happened, because they think because Leatherface kills like woke people that the movie's woke, which is very strange. It was almost anti-woke. To me, the underlying political statement, if there is any of the movie, is that it doesn't matter if you're woke, if you're liberal, because they had the liberal people, then they also had like the people of Texas, which were more like like, you know, an ordinary guy or more the right wing people, and he just killed everybody. So it was kind of like the point of the movie, I thought, was it doesn't matter. You can do all this bickering about stuff. It doesn't matter because you're all going to die anyway. Yes, I liked it. The new Street Profits versus Raw Tag Champions RK Bro is now official for WrestleMania 38. Is this a match you want to see? Nope.
Yeah.
I don't watch a show. So have they done anything with the Street Profits? I hate RK Bro. I really hate the Bro guy. I can't stand Riddle.
Well, like I said, this week they just came out and I guess there was a subtle thing last week, but this week it was kind of like they announced it. Yeah, it's official this week. But it's just something for them to do because it's just no, I'm not looking forward to this. And they should really just combine the tag teams as well. They had the women tag teams, they wrestle on all the shows, and the men should do the same thing. They shouldn't have separate tag team titles.
Yeah, I agree. Agree. Mike Wilcombe says Falaba is a Yokozuna ripoff. If so, WWE should sign him and use him on the Saudi shows because the Prince is a big Yokozuna fan. That's why they had the fake Yokozuna in that.
Couldn't afford to keep going.
I don't know. Is he in good shape anymore to keep wrestling Akibono? I saw Akibono live. It was pretty fun. It was the first time they did the hypnotize spot. Where am I? AEW's announced. I also saw him versus Brody Lee, which was fun. AEW has announced that the Jericho Appreciation Society, which consists of Demo God, I don't think he's using that name anymore, but Jake Hagar, Daniel Garcia, and 2.0 will hold the commencement ceremony at tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day Slam edition of Dynamite. Thoughts? What does this mean? I don't know. It'd probably be fun. I like the group. I think Jake Hagar kind of blows, but I guess if he's just there as the big bodyguard dude, whatever. Do you agree with the comment by Eric Bischoff? You could take WWE's existing roster, bring it over to AEW, and nothing is going to happen. It's story. No, I don't think so. I mean, the show's only been around 3 years, and it already has a pretty good following. Thoughts on plus you can't just bring everyone over to the show and then I don't know, the statement doesn't even make much sense to me. Thoughts on Candice LeRae's WWE NXT contract is reportedly still scheduled to expire this spring. Okay. I don't know. Who is she?
Johnny Gargano's wife?
Johnny Gargano's wife.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Is she hot?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's really good too. I mean, she's wrestled in PWG. She like took thumbtacks to her face, like in a Young Bucks.
Well, that does prove you're good if you can
That's
take
right.
thumbtacks to the face.
Yeah, she's done a lot of hot.
She's a regular man Pondo.
She's no, she's really good though.
Yes, but did she get put through a glass table? No,
Can she take a light tube?
Did she fight Nick Gage?
But I don't know her, so I can't like say anything good or bad. I don't know. But I'd be interested. I will say this. I'm a big AEW fan, but they do need help in the women's division. They have like a core group of people, but they also have some people that aren't particularly good. So they don't necessarily need like a lot of help in the male roster. They're probably overflowing as is, but if she's good, bring her in. Let's see her in AEW. Nah. Would you like to see the Hardy Boys win the tag belts? Yeah. I think this is good for AEW and good for Mad Hardy especially, but Matt's pretty broken down. He's been terrible in AEW for the last 2 years, in my opinion.
Broke.
And this gives them something fun to do, something the fans actually will enjoy. Their fans are going to look over a lot from Matt just because they want to see the Hardy Boys. And you have a lot of dream matches of Hardy Boys in AEW. Young Bucks, I don't know, pretty much every team there, FTR. So yeah, I would say tag run would be fun. They're one of the best tag teams of all time. So yeah.
So what are your guys' opinions of Jeff Hardy dancing on his way to the ring before he saves his brother from
I think it's very funny, but I also do think like you could say this about like many run-ins in wrestling, which it's kind of something you got to look over in wrestling, but it is funny though.
So is that music public domain? Because they were using
it must be. I saw that he bought a bunch of like old 90s WWE music, which I assume must, because I know like the Goldberg theme was public domain. I don't know if it must be, or maybe whoever owns it. So WWE must not own it anyway, but that's fun that they could use the old theme. I say bring in Michael Hayes to be with the Hardy Boys. Does the Hangman need to distance himself from the Dark Order? Yes. The Dark Order sucks. I was a fan of them at different points, but they became a comedy thing when Brody passed away. I get all that. It was fun for a little bit, but it's just meandered around like nothing. It never goes anywhere. They're just a bunch of idiots. And Hangman hanging out with them doesn't do anything for anybody. It just sucks. I'd say, just end the either someone news with the Dark Order, which I think is where it's going, because it looks like they're going to turn heels and maybe they'll be more dark again. And you need someone, I guess, to lead them, or just disband the group. Joey Janela revealed he will not be re-signing with AEW. Favorite memories and matches of him in AEW. I actually liked him. I actually liked his team with Sonny Kiss, but this match with Moxley was good. Yeah, I think he's always pretty good. And he had a following out, before AEW. I like him. Well, I mean, does he really? Is he gonna be like a huge blow if he leaves? No, but I like him. Have you ever literally kicked someone on the butt?
Yes. That's
an interesting question. I don't think I have. I don't know. I'm not a violent man.
Like an Orange Cassidy kick, or
I've never been in a physical fight because people fear me. My brother has always said that I have a charm to me, and that's why a lot of times I don't get punched for being kind of a dick at times and being annoying to people. I don't know. Maybe there's truth to that. I don't know.
You're to get challenged.
But if it ever came down, I mean, I would just, whip ass.
I rather oil check and kick.
What, like actually like stick your foot up someone's butthole?
Yeah, give him the Andre thumb.
Good night, Lexar. Good night, sweet child.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think I'll tap out too because it's
good
past
night,
my
Stevie.
bedtime. Good night, all.
Good night, old man.
Yes, I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Not wild and young like Jackie Jones. I just turned 46, Tazo. Getting old, catching up to you.
That's pretty old. Yeah.
Ric Flair over here.
That's fucking old.
Al Wolf, I meant to ask this months ago, but Robert Englund claimed he pitched an Abbott and Costello-esque movie called The Fat Boys Meet Freddy. As a huge Fat Boys fan and someone who pretends to like horror movies, it's sad this movie never came. I am not actually a Fat Boys fan. Chubby Checker and the Fat Boys. Let's do the twist.
I bought a Fat Boys.
I think two of them are dead. I think only one's alive, aren't they? The original?
I have no idea, but I do remember having some money once when I was young, and I was like, "Hey, with my best friend, let's go get some music."
The new Fat Boys album just dropped.
Man, we went to the record store. This must sound alien to anyone like under the age of 30. Anyway, so we go to the record store, and I buy a cassette tape, and it's the Fat Boys, new album or whatever. It was awful. It was awful.
Was it all you can eat for $1.85 or whatever? I like the Fat Boys.
I'm not saying it was like, it wasn't good. I'm not saying, the Fat Boys themselves had a couple of hits. Well, they had a movie too, right?
Yeah. The what is it? The Disorderlies?
The Disorderlies, yeah, something like that.
I like the Fat. I like Run DMC.
There is no comparison between Run DMC.
they were both. That's very true. That's very true.
Yikes!
Fair enough. Dinner, you ate it. There is none left. It was salty with butter, and it was deaf. You proceeded to eat it because you were in the mood. Too bad you didn't read it was a can of dog food. You be illin'. That's some Run DMC for you.
I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. Sucker MCs call me sire.
Is Danhausen proof that ultra fans of wrestling have no taste? I don't know. I think a lot of people like him who I wouldn't really consider ultra fans. He does seem to. I'll say this. He's not for me, but I stand by. If anyone is over with an audience and has like a following, try it. What the hell? I don't know if he's working at the moment, but Mike Bessler. I do think it's a mistake to put him with the same group as Orange Cassidy because you have two very similar comedic guys, and I think they kind of like cancel each other out. If you had what?
Dilute.
If you had to, Mike Bessler, if you had to choose between eating a boiled leather boot or having Corey Graves as the only person you could talk to for the rest of your life, what kind of seasoning would you want on your boot? I think some smoked paprika. Stellar Steven, is it true that Mike Bessler wears a bandana that others think he wrote Infinite Jest?
It's a David Foster Wallace reference. Only Mike does it.
Favorite Scott? Oh, we did this one. This is a good question. But Lexar, the actor who played Ivan Drago, said that he sent Sylvester Stallone to the hospital while filming Rocky IV. He said that there was no special effects and was told to punch for real and hard. It's probably a bunch of bullshit. Who was more over as a character, Razor Ramon or Scott Hall? That's from Songman. That's an interesting question. I'd have to say Scott Hall. The NWO run.
Same.
It's hard to beat that. It's good. Yeah. It really was the start of that whole the wars, That really was the start of, then Austin brings it to another level, but that was really the start of all that.
It's a good promo of Scott Hall too.
Yeah. That's actually what started the Hey Yo when he was Scott Hall.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And I saw way more NWO shirts than Razor Ramon shirts.
Yeah.
Geraldine, I will be returning tonight. She said, but she did message me earlier. She her internet crapped out. Songman, does In Your Head miss the live showering hairy nudity of Tazo the Greek? He's right here. I would not call him hairy though. He's not a particularly hairy man.
Gary was showing us a lot earlier.
I'm a much hairier man than Tazo. I'd be kind of like the bear to Tazo's cub.
Who's asking about the hair again? My hair, my
Song
hair.
man. Song man.
Man, song man, what's up with you?
You're better than ever today.
Well, I think Tazo's winning the war versus demons tonight. He's well groomed. He looks like he knows what's going on.
Yeah, no more of that craziness from last time. I was going to ask Songman what's going on with Io and the two sisters from Japan.
Oh, you mean Io?
Io,
Shirai?
yes.
Oh, you're Shirai.
Yeah, man. So all right, let me preface this by saying how I called that those chicks were going to be huge stars, just like I said. The Bella twins were going to be huge stars, just like I said. Canada was going to be a huge star. I was right again. And if they're not using those two chicks and riding them,
whoa,
every day, excellent wrestlers. I don't know why Asuka is not like, I don't hear about her at all. But anyway, I was going to ask what was going on.
Yeah, I don't know if she's even on anymore. Is she? Asuka? I don't think
she's been on. She was recently cleared to wrestle, but they don't have any plans for her. Of course.
Make some plans, man. Make some plans, man.
Do it up.
Greatest.
You've got some real total shit matches at WrestleMania with like people that suck. You could put in. You could put her.
You and Asuka are better than most of the roster, men or women.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, and well, I think it's at 6 months. I think because it's already been a year, and remember what happened last year after WrestleMania? Is she gonna be one of them to go? To let go, just like Samoa Joe and many others after WrestleMania came to an end.
Forestdale Custodians, was there ever a cooler badass than Scott Hall? I never saw him, if there was. I agree with that. I think he's the coolest wrestler that's been around. If Intra saw a young lady about to get Lexar'd by Lexar, would he push her out of the way and take the Lexarm for her? Well, I believe he would. He's a good man. He's not a scoundrel. He's an upstanding citizen. So, yeah, I think he would. And Tazo, all kidding aside, you're a good man. I'm glad you're on the show here. I've always been a fan of yours. I consider you a friend of mine.
Oh, indubitably. Thank you.
You're welcome.
A friend of mine, too. I wanted to ask you, though, I have my own questions here, but I'll stop.
Right. Yeah, no, send them out. Let's hear them.
Well, my first one was, and the most important one was, now that World War III is on the horizon, but what could say, and here we're all, starving and gas prices are so high. I had an idea for solving the gas issue would be, what if they build a pipeline from the Black Sea up to West Virginia and 1-inch biceps asshole.
Whoa.
Can I say asshole? Can I say
ethane gas?
Sounds like an oil check.
I think that would solve the United States.
Could be. Could be. He's eating the hillbilly hot dogs and the beans. Because he always says chili without beans is his hot dog sauce. So
he sleeps on that throne there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last week he was a 48-hour poop fest. So why not? All this. I see this all the time up in Boston. All these ads where you can sell your stool now. And I was thinking about doing this myself. Like it says you get money for like your shit. They don't call it shit. They call it your stool because it's all classy because it's like at Harvard. But what the hell do they do with this stuff? They say, I'm not even joking. They say like they like transplant it. They like take healthy poop and they put it in like people. Like somehow this helps people. Like you put like good poop up in someone's colon. I don't understand it. But if I can make some cash out of my poop, why not?
To sell enemas.
Start selling my poop. But I wonder, like, what do you do? Do you have to do you do that to like bring it in a lunchbox, or do you have to like drop a deuce, like like do they have to watch you, make sure it's like really coming out of you? You didn't go pick it up off the street. I don't know all the details. I'm gonna look into this. I'm gonna make some cash off my poop. Plus, I help people. It's for a good cause. It's like giving blood. Any more questions, Tazo?
Hey, have you watched? I got a couple of shows I was going to ask if you watched. One of them was The Boys. I think it's on.
Oh, that's. I've not seen it, but I've heard really good things. It's a comic book show, but it's like.
Have you watched Invincible?
No.
This is another comic book show, but it's an animated show. Very good. Okay, you haven't watched any of that because you're watching.
Tyler, what's your favorite movie?
What's that, Steven?
What's your favorite movie, Tyler?
Huh?
What's your favorite movie, Tyler?
My favorite movie of all time?
Taxi Driver.
It could be.
I'm
be
just
multiple.
gonna say, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm guessing it's Taxi Driver.
I would say
$40 per donation of poop. Go on, sir.
I have no idea. I was gonna say Caligula, maybe.
Really? When I interviewed Malcolm McDowell, because I'm a pretty badass guy, Tazo. I was hanging out with Malcolm McDowell, did a video interview with the man. I told him, true story, I watched Caligula with my mom.
Oh my God.
That's actually, she's a big fan of the movie. And he just looked at me and he said, "No wonder you're so fucked up." That's your favorite movie, Caligula? I do like Caligula, but I won't say it's the best movie.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite movie, but I can't say I have a favorite.
I would just assume it's Taxi Driver. I kind of see you like living your life as Travis Bickle.
I wish I had the balls of Travis Bickle to
Dude,
take care of
King of Comedy is an underrated Scorsese movie.
It's good. Yeah, King Comedy's good, but I don't think it's nearly as good as Taxi Driver. I kind of almost think it's overrated in a way because I think like people talk about it now as they put it up with Taxi Driver. I don't think it's as good. But it's good though. I like it.
I'm not that sophisticated. I've probably seen a lot of movies, although not recently, but I'm not a very sophisticated guy to say what.
Goodfellas.
What's a Goodfellas is an awesome movie, of course.
Godfather 1 and 2. Fuck Part 3.
I really like
all that shit.
I like Seven Seal, and recently I was watching Throne of Blood by Akira Kurosawa.
That was intro last week, The Throne of Blood.
That's what I was trying to mention earlier.
Thundar the Barbarian. That's probably my.
That's a cartoon, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Saturday morning cartoon.
The Shining.
Die Hard. Just the 90s, just growing up
really? The 90s?
When movies got good.
I would say 70s much better cinema.
Roots. That's not a movie.
That's made for TV, but that's good. Good miniseries.
Well, maybe Terminator 2 for the 90s, maybe.
I personally think Terminator's better, but Terminator 2.
Yeah, true.
What is the stool donation process? The process for donating stool may vary depending on the program or donations. Generally, once you are admitted to the program after extensive screening, you will go to a donation location, that rhymes, where you will poop into a container. The stool in the container will be tested, and if appropriate to use, will be processed, frozen, and saved, or it will be sent off to use in an FMT procedure. Man, so they froze.
I actually like
sure
Dead
you
Man.
don't think that's like a fudge sickle or something.
The Johnny Depp
like
1995 movie. Dead Man from 1995. It's an acid western.
I know a movie, but that's your favorite movie?
Well, no, I'm just trying to pick any art house movie that comes to my head.
I would say 3 O'Clock High was probably one of my favorite movies back in the day. And one of those Madonna movies was actually pretty good. Or no, not a Madonna movie. It was movie that took place in the village. I just forget the name of it.
Says you can make 13 grand a year by selling your poop on a regular basis. You gotta look into this.
It has to be good poop.
Making some cash.
What you're doing,
yeah.
I think, it's like people who've blown out their intestines because they drink too much. You know, you're giving your shit to the doctor to shove into a.
Yeah, they got to be in excellent health, it says, and they must have regular bowel movements that meet specific criteria. Live a healthy lifestyle, which I do now, with little risk of obtaining diseases.
I've recently taken a bunch of poops that smelled like my dad's old poops, you know, that were like from a poop of a 80-year-old dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're probably the age of what you remember your dad being now.
I mean, I'm
like the scenes with Crispin Glover and
in Tazo's poop.
Oh. No, and Deadman.
There Will Be Blood was a good movie.
That's a good movie.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Let's see here, In Your Head Newswire. Queen Charmel to be inducted into the In Your Head Hall of Fame. I think it's time to give the fans what they want, whether they know it, whether they know that they want it or not. That's Jackie Jones quote, which I misquoted, even though it's me. Jackie Jones appears on the Maury Show. Lie detector confirms that he doesn't eat at Taco Bell, but paternity tests reveal he has fathered 11 children. It's a good look at. Oh, by the way, that picture there, I am wearing a newsboy hat, just like Butch.
Yes, you look like Butch there.
Read all about it.
Pretty hot looking dude, I think.
What would they name you, Jackie Jones, if you went to WWE? Would they give you a name like Butch?
Steve.
Jack.
Coming to the ring. Steve. No, it'd probably be like Carmine Palpatine or something. Like they give these really terrible names in NXT.
Mason.
Al Woob and OIB get matching tattoos. Look, they made up Inchman. Al Woob got the Inchman tattooed, and Inchman got the Alberto tattoo. Maybe that's for Alberto Del Rio, though. I wonder if it's really for Al Woob. I'm glad they made up, buried the hatchet.
Alberto Diarrhea.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That would be a good garbage pail kid. All right. Anything?
What are you, a big Georgia? Stephen, a big Georgia O'Keeffe fan with the skull.
Georgia O'Keeffe.
Where is that tentacle coming from? Your vagina? What is going on there?
I don't think the listeners can
what
see.
Did George O'Keeffe paint? Like still life?
It's actually gifted art from a friend because I'm a House of Black member, so I think she wanted to make me House of Black.
What is House of Life?
It's not in the picture, but
House of Black. It's a faction in AEW.
I see.
Alistair Black.
You can't see it in the picture.
Malachi
You can't
Black.
see it in the picture, but there's hooves like on the feet, for feet.
It looks like you are
Satan!
You're channeling your female devil self.
All hail Satan.
So do you drink a baby blood?
Preferably not baby. I prefer 18 and above.
But that's not where the good adrenochrome is. No, not in your older.
Not going to have eternal youth.
I prefer rat blood, actually. Rat innards are pretty good for a salad.
Do you bleed the rats yourself?
No, I usually just let them bite me first, and then I attack.
You're making blood packs with rats?
Yeah, like Mankind did with Jim Cornette's rat.
this wrestling related stuff? I'm missing something.
No, you're asking me about blood and rats, and then Mankind actually did have a rat in his vignette, so I turned it back into wrestling.
What happened to that rat? Is that rat getting into the Hall of Fame at any time?
He should be. His balls are just, are huge, bigger than mine.
We should get a wrestler with rats to have with walking around with some pet rats.
Yeah, like Crispin Glover Willard style.
That'd be a pretty good gimmick, I would say.
Yeah, I'm ready to play it. I'm gonna lose the weight.
There you go. You'll be on NXT soon. No, seriously, get some rats. Get some rats. Some champagne colored rats.
Like female? You mean like female groupies?
No, I think he means like actual vermin.
Oh,
I think that's a good gimmick. Get some guy, call him Vermin, or Norman the Vermin or something.
That sounds like a good 90s WWF name.
I'd say bring the 90s back, man. Bring them back, baby.
You think of that, Townsend?
Mm-hmm. Bring back that 90s All Japan, baby.
Who's that? Baphomet on your shirt?
It is.
Yeah. I know what's going on up there in the northeastern woods.
Walpurgis will be my entrance music.
Yes, you should bring a doll, woven doll of twigs.
Hey, actually,
half horse, half woman.
I actually know a wrestler with a doll. His name is Maestro from WCW.
What kind of doll?
He's a Papastro. It's kind of creepy. It's got like some black on it, and it's like got black hair, and it's got a blue dress, I think. Her name's Dorothy.
Very nice, Baphomet. There you go, man. As above, so below. Is that correct, Jack? Is that how it goes? Before you walk into the pentagram or whatever the hell you guys do over there.
That's funny you mentioned that. I actually went to my dojo and put tape on my feet with "as above, so below" acronyms on it, just to get my mind in the mood to politely kill.
Who do you think would win in a fight, Songman? Jackie Jones or Stellar Steven?
Well, I mean, I would take it easy on Jack. I'd probably just oil check him first and wait for him to tap out.
This is without the taped feet.
Oh, without the taped feet, it might be more of a challenge, but I still think I'd win.
Who is this? Nick Gage's little brother? Who is this?
That's me.
Sorry.
Back when we had to wear masks.
During that fake pandemic. Yes, I remember.
But I found
I got no heat for not
true
wearing
story.
that.
When I was in Salem once, I found a skull. What did we find out what it was? A lamb skull. No, it was a goat skull. We didn't know what it was at the time, but I found out it was a goat skull.
I actually have a goat skull mask that I wore on this show.
Yeah, but this is one I actually just found out in the woods. I wasn't trying to be creepy.
That makes it even
I found
better.
a goat skull and and it was along with a baby doll, a doll baby.
Did you keep it?
I kept the skull. Yeah, I gave it to Annabelle.
Damn.
When I used to hang around Prospect Park here in Brooklyn, right back in the day, in the 80s when I was young, and Prospect Park is pretty big here in Brooklyn, you would find, and there's like different neighborhoods and different ethnicities. Occasionally you would find somewhere deep in the park, like 2 or 3 dead chickens with their heads cut off. And obviously it was like some sort of Santeria deal going on.
As above, so below is actually Hermeticism. And I wouldn't say it's satanic, but I'm sure occultists use that.
Just a bunch of nerds thinking they're being dark. And
yeah,
creepy.
it's all D&D. It's all LARPing.
The thing is this, it's I believe that some people don't realize that it's not real. But that the bottom line is, first of all, you have to admit or say that you don't believe in any of this metaphysical stuff. you know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they don't. They don't believe in. I'm not going to get in this argument, but anyway.
Come on, man. You've heard of
It's
Admiral
1 o'clock.
Michael Aquino? Michael Aquino, man, he's like an admiral or a general in the United States military.
Dude, if you actually listen to these people, that they don't believe it, that the devil even exists.
He's created the Temple of Set or the Cult of Set or whatever.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulls, making people believe.
Just a bunch of marks. They're a bunch of trolls, which is fine, but Bryce Paulie in the chat. Hey yo, shout out to Scott Hall. As we started the show, we'll end it here with tribute to Scott Hall, one of my favorite. Very sad he passed away, but he'll be remembered. As long as there's wrestling fans, they'll remember Scott Hall. And we could really, as they said, a few people said, I don't think there's ever a cooler wrestler. I think Tazo's basically saying that, and the custodian here was saying that, and Jobs was saying that, and I agree. That is probably kind of guy we could need in wrestling right now, kind of like the cool guy. We have a lot of kind of fun comedy guys. I'm not against that, but I don't know if there is any like actually cool wrestler. Anyway, rest in peace, Scott Hall. And we'll be back next week here. Incher will return on the show. And yes, Patrick Howell, you do exist. He's asking if he exists. And he does exist. Geraldine's internet died, so she had to cut out, but she'll be back hopefully next week. And until then, this is Jackie Jones. Tazo's getting out of there because the family's coming home who owns this house that he invaded.
For being cool.
Hey, yo. Say goodbye to the Greek guy.
Bye.
All right. Good night, everybody.